Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers will join us from Seattle in about an hour. He's attending practice, and we'll have some Blues Nuggets ahead of tomorrow night's game against or tomorrow afternoon's game against the Kraken. 2:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I think we laid off today, guys, with the unfortunate reality that Marsh was right about the Mizzou Tigers and that they were fraudulent.
Go Tiger.
I didn't think that. I mean, look, going into a game where you're a small underdog on the road against an SEC opponent that had been playing well since that week one loss to Notre Dame, them losing. Okay, we knew it was a possibility for them to get rolled like that. They didn't look like they belonged on the same field as A&M.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. Let's be honest about what it was. It wasn't a loss.
No,
it was a throttling.
It was.
They got beat from start to finish. And I know Mizzou fans will talk about, there were some penalties here and there that weren't called or that were taken back. But at the end of the day, Texas A&M took it to Mizzou. Mm-hmm. Like they, from start to finish. It was unfortunate. I don't know why they came out so lackluster. They didn't make enough plays. They ran the ball on them really well. Texas A&M did, and it was just a poor performance by Mizzou, and a performance that if you're a top 10 team, you cannot go on the road and lose in that manner. Mm-hmm. Like, you just can't. It's inexcusable.
You had a bye too. You had
2 weeks.
A full week before the week of the game.
2 weeks to prepare.
How do you come out that flat? And I said it a few weeks ago. The one thing that is going to hurt this team is how slow they are out of the gate. You mentioned the penalties. Sure.
Yeah.
You probably should have 14 points on the board. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with your defense giving up 40 points.
We talked about this. How many times did Mizzou get out of position against Boston College and Vanderbilt? That was my biggest concern following the Vanderbilt game. You saw it several times. Even in the games that they had won, their DBs were constantly out of position. What did we see against A&M? You had horrible angles taken. Forget the tackling, because the tackling wasn't good either. But you had horrible angles on some of these pass plays. Corners that were late, safeties that took themselves out of position. That's on top of being pushed around in the trenches all game long. Texas A&M's offensive line manhandled Mizzou's.
And their defensive line did a really good job as well. Texas A&M's did. Like they got after the quarterback, that Scrouton kid. He's a really good football player. Like, they got after Mizzou on all levels. They did not allow them to do anything. Mizzou looked uncomfortable. They looked out of sorts. They didn't look like a top 10 team. Mm-hmm. Like and this is, people, they call me a hater, right? This is when I say, well, we beat Ohio State in the bowl game. So what? Mm-hmm. Half of Ohio State's roster, quarterback and best player, did not play in that game. And it's a new season. This team looks like they brought back a lot of players from last year. It does not look like it. It looks like they're still trying to figure one another out. Like, you should be able to offensively, Luther Burden, get the ball, Theo Weiss. Like, you should be able to do these things and have big plays, and they're not doing it well enough right now.
Well, when the offensive line wasn't getting Brady Cook hit, he wasn't throwing in it with rhythm at all. There's no rhythm to his game.
I don't think he threw one ball up the middle of the field.
There was a couple of times where his eyes dropped. He was looking at the rush, which is difficult, right? Like, a lot of young quarterbacks do that. But there was zero rhythm to his passes. No 3-step, 5-step balls out, or make one or two reads, ball comes out. There was a lot of him looking around, him trying to find open lanes to throw to. He looked slow. That was a disaster. They were down so quickly that they couldn't really run the ball as much. That was bad all the way through. That did not look like, forget top 10 team, that didn't look like a top 25 team.
So do you think they deserve to be in the top 25? They're ranked 21 right now.
I mean, 21's, this is one step from being bounced. Mm-hmm. 21, 25. I mean, you had a lot of upsets again. There's really no great team in college football this year. We'll get to that fact.
There's a lot of people lost.
There's a lot of good teams. There's no great. Yeah. There's no great. Alabama goes to Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt beats them.
Well, That makes Mizzou's win over Vandy look that much better.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Arkansas. How about Arkansas?
Beat Tennessee. We talked about Arkansas, though. Like how they played against Oklahoma State to start the season. Like
they've been in every game.
Every game.
Every game.
To me, Tennessee was the one team that, this is a powerhouse. They cannot be stopped. They scored 14 points.
Yeah. And it was a struggle to get to those 14 if you watch the game.
It's just not good, man. Yeah. Not good enough.
That might be another loss on Mizzou's schedule at the end of the season.
Arkansas?
Yeah.
If the two teams played the way they did on Saturday, then obviously, yeah. That to me, you hit the nail on the head, Marsh. You had 2 weeks to prepare for that. 2 weeks to prepare for that. I get the aspect of, hey, guys got to make plays. A&M's receivers made plays. Connor Wegman made plays all day. I mean, the back shoulder throw to the sidelines was there the entire time. A&M's wide receivers made plays. Their linebackers made plays. But from a coaching standpoint, I don't know what the game plan was heading into that game. I don't, like, if it was to feature Brady Cook, I think that was a mistake and it went sideways in a hurry.
What is there? Who are they?
To me, they should be a balanced team, a team that relies more on the run, but you better have a lead. And I don't think the defense is good enough to be a team like that. So they're kind of stuck in the middle. A&M took it to them.
They did. No, they did. And again, there were some penalties. The first drive of the game, you get the ball thrown to Weiss, and throw a pass interference call, and then they take it back.
Yeah.
The touchdown that Luther Burden caught, catch and run, they called that one back. But at the end of the day, those penalties are self-inflicted wounds. Like, you are causing yourself touchdowns, minus the first one, but you're costing yourself points, you're costing yourself yardage, you're costing yourself rhythm. Like, when you can't get in a rhythm offensively because you have penalty after penalty after penalty, and then your momentum is taken away, you make a big play, that's a huge letdown to score a touchdown and have the play called back because of a penalty.
Yeah.
That's an emotional roller coaster. You're so excited. Oh no, we got to play another down because we made a mistake. Those things cost your team, and at the end of the day, that's why Mizzou lost. They didn't show up prepared. Like Mark said, 2 weeks to prepare for this game, and maybe there was some concern or some confusion about who was starting at quarterback for Texas A&M. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Offensively, that quarterback didn't have nothing to do with what you were doing on the offensive side of the ball. You had no rhythm. You had no consistency. You could not figure out a way to consistently move the ball on that defense and score points. It just looked out of sorts at all times offensively for them.
Yes.
And that's not what it's supposed to be. Kirby Moore is supposed to be, getting guys the ball, and Brady Cook he's his third year starting. He's supposed to be, and it just looked uncomfortable from start to finish.
There was a play in the first, I think it was the first quarter. It's definitely in the first half where Brady Cook. They showed the side the camera angle from behind Mizzou's offense, and I watched this back a couple of times. There was a play where he got the ball, and I'm like, why is he looking to run so quickly? Then they showed the end zone angle on it. They had two wide receivers essentially running 9 routes, so go routes, and both wide receivers kind of slow up and turn and look. And then they had a running back that was protecting the backfield, and then I think a tight end that either ran a flag route or a post route. I realized, I think it was a designed run. I think it was designed quarterback draw. And it was just, poorly executed all the way across. Like, the design wasn't good. There was nothing to pull the linebacker out of his spot. The linebacker just read Cook. As soon as Cook tucked the ball, he was right there.
Yeah.
So nothing about Mizzou on Saturday was impressive.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, and this is from BK's X, Twitter, said that Mizzou had...
BK's X writes about...
No.
His burner account.
No, on Twitter, though, he said Mizzou attempted 0 passes over the middle of the field on Saturday per SEC StatCat. How are you going to win?
It's tough to win that way.
How are you going to win that way?
Right.
And we didn't even mention the great 3 points that they put up at the end of the game.
Wow. Well, if you had the over, you're happy about it. But other than that,
amazing.
I thought that was quite frankly embarrassing. I'm sorry.
I don't know what the purpose of that is.
I thought that was embarrassing.
If I'm down there, I might as well score, or at least try.
A touchdown.
Yeah, a touchdown. I don't give a damn about a field goal.
I couldn't believe they trotted the field goal unit out.
Why are the starters even in the game?
It was bad.
That's another question.
It was bad.
If you go score, just go score. You'll be all right. Figure it out. Figure out a way to score.
Not great. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. If you want to participate in today's show, love to have you. We've got our Air Comfort Service text line open. We got mic drop features. Shout out to the Snake Pit today. That's our YouTube channel, Air Alliance YouTube channel. So if you want to participate there, you can. Jamie will be with us about 3 o'clock today, so we'll get into some of the Blues notes from the weekend. And we had Tyler Tucker being released, but he cleared waivers, so it looks like he's still going to remain a Blue. But we'll have some more Blues discussions coming up at 3 o'clock. Let's get into the NFL Week 5 instant reaction next, though. We'll talk about some of the key things from yesterday's game, including how Marsh, early in the morning, made his way to Cybergs with his helmet.
Yes.
And his Minnesota Vikings remain 5-0. So we'll get into some of the key news and notes from the NFL next on 101 ESPN. The Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum location has extended their Fall into Savings event throughout the month of October. So if you head out to Herculaneum, you're going to see some great deals on some great new and pre-owned vehicles. Low finance rates available right now. 0% APR on Pathfinders, Rogues, and Altimas, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on Frontier. They also have low payment options when it comes to your leases, like $329 per month on 2024 Rogues. With over 700 vehicles, both pre-owned and new, at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, you're bound to find the right vehicle that matches your budget, your style, your preferences, everything. And they give you the new Nissan 30-day return promise, complimentary Nissan maintenance plan, and the complimentary lifetime warranty as well. So not only are you going to have a way to finance a vehicle, you're also going to get a great deal, and they're going to give you a little peace of mind as you walk out the door. Again, if you're not completely satisfied with the vehicle or your experience, Auto Center's Nissan gives you that 30-day return promise. Start at AutoCentersNissan.com. You can head out to Herculaneum. What to do? Tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Center's Nissan. 5 of the NFL season will conclude tonight at Arrowhead Stadium when the Saints take on the Chiefs. We'll have the Monday Night Football game for you right here on 101 ESPN. But let's get into some instant reaction. Marsh, second half wasn't pretty for the Minnesota Vikings.
It hasn't been in the past 2 weeks.
It hasn't been in the last 2 weeks. But they do hold on to a 23-17 win over Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. The first half for you guys was absolutely outstanding. You had the pick six of Aaron Rodgers, and I thought that was a complete dominant performance in the first half. Yeah. And then it seemed like the Vikings took their foot off the gas a little bit, but you're 5-0 still.
Feels good. It feels real good. I do believe that the score maybe looks a little different offensively if Aaron Jones isn't out for the majority of that game. Man, he really changes that offense. He's still got a lot in him. I can't believe Green Bay decided to move against Aaron Jones. Like, I got
Jacobs, who is pretty good.
That's fair, but
he is.
He is. I'm an Aaron Jones guy now. What can I say? But man, Andrew Van Ginkel, the logo, great.
How about that?
What a pickup.
Yep.
And that is because you move on from Kirk Cousins and all that money you're allowed to, or it allows you to spend in other places, and that's what roster building is.
Yep.
What a crazy concept.
Yeah, no kidding. How about that?
It's feels good. Feels good. We'll see how long it lasts, but right now they're playing good football in the first half and making me want to rip my hair out in the second, but they're coming out with the victories.
The Jets are terrible.
Thank you.
They are. And I know Nathaniel Hackett.
That's bad.
It's all bad. And Aaron Rodgers is bad.
He's a problem.
Like, it's bad. Like, I was so mad. The last interception he threw, and he had the audacity to go talk to the ref like, hey, what are you doing? Sir.
It's a bad ball.
Where the hell are you? Who are you throwing the ball to, man?
Yeah, it was a great pass to Gilmore.
It was a great pass to Stephon Gilmore. Who are you throwing the ball to? Why are you mad? You should go look in a mirror and point at him.
Thank you.
Because he stinks right now. That ball was a terrible ball. It was terrible placement. Mike Williams was not even ready to look back. It was, and here's the thing. If it were a back shoulder pass, which I think that's what he was going for, it should have been on the outside, man.
Yeah.
You threw it on the inside. So who are you mad at?
Right.
That was terrible. Like, that's terrible football. And then you're mad at somebody else. Well, somebody come get mad at your ass and say, hey, don't throw that there. What are you doing?
Right.
That was bad. Yeah, it's the Jets are horrible right now.
When he has faced a defense that's good, Aaron Rodgers looks slow and washed up.
Yes. He looks old.
When he has faced a defense with a pulse, he looks washed up. And there's no magic left.
And then
whatsoever.
they were talking about on the broadcast about, how it takes him a little bit longer to recover. You think? You're 40. It takes me long to recover, and I ain't played in 15 years.
What about the ayahuasca juice or whatever?
I don't know if you can take it during the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can go to the dark room during practice.
I will say, Robert Saleh's facial expressions on the sideline literally powered me through that entire game. That was so funny. You just see him. He's like, just
every play. He's bent over, hunched over, kneeling down.
He's done.
That is let me tell you something.
Go back to being a defensive coordinator.
Hey, as a coach that has lost his fair share of games, I've won my fair share, but I've lost some. And when it's bad play, bending over, scratching your head, hands on head, like trying to figure out how do we get this correct, are all signs that you're toast.
Yeah,
like, he's probably done after.
You don't know what to do.
Well, you have one of the best running backs in the league, and the guy,
he's a ghost.
He's a ghost, and
that's Nathaniel Hackett.
And your I'll call him your second running back, has been probably your best back.
You're absolutely right. You have two backs. You have two good backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, and you rushed 14 times for 36 yards. You're not committed to the run. You don't want to run. You just want to call pass plays for Aaron Rodgers.
That's the quarterback.
54 pass plays for Aaron Rodgers,
who, by the way, got injured in the game too.
Yes, he did.
And then he came right back.
And you lost by 6 points. He put the ball in the air 54 times. Dude, unless you're Mahomes in a shootout, you shouldn't be putting the ball in the air 54 times.
Good news for them. They got the Bills next week. Get right, gang.
So we're doing instant reactions, right? One of my instant reactions is you had several teams that flat out blew it from a coaching standpoint yesterday. The Cincinnati Bengals are one of them. You were up by 10, and I know you got Lamar a couple of times there. And there were the big run at the end. Your defense was gassed at that point, whatever. But you're up by 10 multiple times in that fourth quarter. 3 minutes left, 2nd and 15. You got Burrow dropping back to throw. He gets picked off. You get a fumble in overtime, and you can't get your special teams right to kick a field goal. Bad snap, bad hold. That was like coaching malpractice in Cincinnati, but it wasn't as bad as what we saw in other areas, including Houston for the Bills.
I bet Carey was just ready to talk about this today.
Oh, the Buffalo Bills?
What were they doing?
They backed up 3 straight passes.
I don't know. I don't know if Sean McDermott knows what he was doing. He said it. He said, that's poor clock management on my behalf. Like, you run the ball, you force them to take their timeouts. Yeah. If anything else, if nothing else, you do the same thing. You punt the ball, but they don't have any timeouts left. Mm-hmm. And so initially I was thinking, well, maybe he doesn't want to punt because there's an unknown rule that it's a free kick. So if you punt the ball and they fair catch it, they can get a free kick from wherever they fair catch it at. And that means the team can't rush. You can kick a field goal. Mm-hmm. And so in my mind, maybe that's what he was afraid of because they're so far backed up. He didn't want to have to punt that ball and risk them fair catching it and getting a free kick and kicking that ball for a 65-yard field goal without anybody rushing. Maybe that's what he was concerned about. But at the end of the day, you didn't do anything. You didn't get a first down. You did punt it. And they still had all 3 timeouts, which means they could run a simple play, get 5 yards, get themselves a little bit closer, and find a way to kick the game-winning field goal.
I think that if you look at the Bills, they're still so reliant on Josh Allen. I thought that's what that sequence was.
Really? Isn't he an elite quarterback? Didn't you tell me last week it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, and Josh?
Yes.
And I said no.
You said just Mahomes and Lamar.
Yeah.
If Allen was playing on the Ravens, do you think that the Ravens are still 3-2?
No.
Do you think they're worse?
Yes.
So you really just don't like Josh Allen?
I don't dislike him. So here's my question. How good was Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs got there?
He was good.
He wasn't as good as he was when Stephon Diggs was there. What you're seeing from him these last couple of games is what he was before Stephon Diggs got there. Like, this is who he is without an elite receiver. That changes things for quarterbacks. It makes life, as much as you want to complain about, he complains about the ball. You know why? Because he is always open. In his mind, at least. Mm-hmm. And he's going to compete. He's going to try to make plays. Khalil Shakir was out. You didn't run the ball effectively enough. You ran it well, but you didn't do enough. And then Josh Allen, the first half, he stunk.
Yeah, he did.
He went 9 for 32, I believe.
Yeah, he was bad.
How are you? No, that's
the last 2 weeks have been bad.
And in my opinion, this is who he is. Like, this is the version of him without Stephon Diggs that you will get. Mm-hmm. Those first couple of games, okay, you were playing bad teams, and you did what you were supposed to do. This, to me, when you play better competition, this is the version of Josh Allen that you're going to get.
I still think he's a franchise quarterback. He's got no running game.
It's only 32 of them. So, yeah, really 16. Okay. So, I agree.
I'm going to give Carey and myself some props here because the Arizona Cardinals took down the San Francisco 49ers yesterday.
I blame you for
Murray.
this.
Kyler Murray.
You blame me?
Had himself a solid game.
I blame you.
If Moody doesn't get hurt, the 49ers are fine.
I blame you because I was peer pressured off of the Kyler Murray and Arizona Cardinals bandwagon. You and you did this. And I said they were terrible. And then what did they do? Go out and beat the damn 49ers, who are your pick and mine. Be in the Super Bowl.
I don't know at this point what I'm watching with the Niners. It's just unfortunate because I know they're a good team, and you can't say it's just because of Christian McCaffrey because Jordan Mason has stepped up big time for them. And yesterday they were fairly healthy. They had Debo, they had Kittle. Kittle had a monstrous game. Brandon Ayuk finally figured out what a stadium was. Mm-hmm. Like their offense was solid. But they lose Moody in the second quarter, and I think it kind of jacked them up.
I think the where you miss Christian McCaffrey at, like Jordan Mason is going to run the ball effectively, but Christian McCaffrey does so much more. He lines up in odd spaces in the backfield and out of the backfield. He puts pressure on the defense because you don't know if he's lining up as a pass receiver. He can go catch passes. Jordan Mason is not able to do all of those things, which is why Christian McCaffrey is paid the way that he is. He does everything, and I think that that's partly what you're missing without Christian McCaffrey in that lineup. It just changes because it's a mismatch. It's a matchup nightmare for the defense. You put Deebo Samuel in the backfield and you got Christian McCaffrey in the slot. What are they doing? Is Deebo running the ball? Is he going to pass? Do I put a linebacker out over Christian McCaffrey and a DB in the linebacker spot because I'm expecting him to run a pass route? Nope, we're going to hand it off. Oh crap! Now it does so many different things for this offense when Christian McCaffrey is in the lineup, and I think that that's probably partly what they're missing. So him not being in the lineup from a running standpoint, yes, it's essentially the same, but the passing game, I think that's where it changes.
Your mom's boyfriend from the Snake Pit just texted, the 49ers are like the fast lane. A ton of talent, but kind of a mess. I think that's pretty fair. Real quick, your Steelers lose last night to the Cowboys. I got two observations. One, Dak had some really ugly throws. Mm-hmm. He had some spectacular throws too. Okay. There was a couple that were like down the middle. I think was it Tolbert or was it Turbin?
Yeah.
Where he
Turbin.
threw that. I mean, he threaded that thing perfectly. The other throw, and it was an unbelievable catch, was to CeeDee Lamb. I don't know how it was a sideline pass.
Yeah.
I don't know how Dak fit that in that window, and CeeDee Lamb. Incredible feet, incredible hands. So Dak had a very uneven game. Like, he had some really bad throws. But I thought that was a gritty performance by the Cowboys.
It was on the road to finish that game. The game was delayed like hour and a half.
Yep.
Like, it was a lot.
Missing guys.
And then you fumble on the 1 yard line with Roberts jumping over the pile and knocking the ball out of Dowdle's hands. Like, it was a good game by both sides. If I'm a Steeler, and I am a Steeler fan, I'm probably. Part of me is wanting to see what Russell can do,
or Kyle Allen,
and that's what triggered that, because there are times with Justin Fields where the on target, on time throws aren't there. Like, the NFL is a different animal. You don't have, like, it is split second. The ball needs to be out of your hand, thrown on the break, and the receiver has to be breaking to catch the ball. You can't wait till he gets open, and so I think that they may. Make a decision. If Russ is healthy, give him a shot, because Justin Fields adds an element with the run game, and I wouldn't mind using both of them. Mm-hmm. Like, I would honestly treat it like college football. I got two quarterbacks, and they both do different things, and I'm going to use them to the best of their ability. There are things that Russell can't do that Justin can, and vice versa. I wouldn't mind using both of them, because I think you do need that elite passing element, on time, on target throws. But Justin does add that running game, so I wouldn't be afraid to use both.
Good luck. Good luck with that Arthur Smith pass game. I loved how he was a genius the first couple of weeks, and now we're getting to the point where it's like, oh, wait, that passing game is
You act like you've seen this
There
before.
He is.
Okay.
There you are. There you are. Artie, the party. You were here the whole time, weren't you?
Would have got away with it. It wasn't for you meddling kids.
He was wearing an Andy Reid mask the first couple of weeks. It's like, wait a minute, that's not Andy Reid. All right, this is Fastlane on 101 ESPN. There was a scene last night that was absolutely despicable in sports, and then there was another scene that I absolutely loved. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues regular season starts tomorrow. We'll have all the coverage for you right here on 101 ESPN as the Blues will take on the Seattle Kraken. Pregame starts at 2:30, and you can listen to it right here on 101 ESPN. Mizzou with an unfortunate loss over the weekend to Texas A&M. The final 41-10. Mizzou has dropped in the rankings. They went from 9 to 21. Also, Illinois is ranked 23 after being idle this weekend. We'll talk more college football throughout the remainder of the show. Speaking of football, not American football, City SC, they won 3-0 in their final home game of the season over the weekend. Their final game of the regular season will come against Minnesota on the 19th. Tonight, we have Monday Night Football for you. It's the Saints and the Chiefs. And you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
So there was a scene last night in sports that I absolutely hated, and it got me fired up for what transpired. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. The scene that was discussing was at Dodger Stadium with the some Dodger fans. I don't want to paint all Dodger fans with a brush here, but some Dodger fans throwing balls and trash onto the fields. Directed mostly at Jerickson Profar, who made an absolutely sensational catch to rob a home run in the first inning of a 10-2 Dodgers victory. But I hate the Dodgers. I don't knock them for doing what they do, signing Shohei Ohtani, all that. I'm not going to play that game. I don't care about that. But I love the fact that they often come up short. And last night when I saw the players, or not the players, excuse me, but the fans, throwing stuff at Jerickson Profar, and the security had to come out and all that stuff, I became a San Diego Padre fan for the night and at least for the rest of the series. And I absolutely loved that they played home run derby off of that overrated Dodgers pitching staff.
Yes.
To a 10-2 victory. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, let's go Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Jerickson Profar, Cronenworth, Merrill, and let's go Padres.
Mike Schilt.
And Mikey Schilt.
Well, that's really, man, you could have started there and just stopped.
Nah, I don't care about that.
No.
Nah, he's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that was a disturbing thing that took place.
Come on.
And I think when you are a fan, this is just my opinion, when you decide to involve yourself in the game in that manner, you should not be allowed back into a stadium to do anything.
Couldn't agree more.
You should be banned, maybe for life, maybe for 20 years. Who knows? But whichever comes first, I don't like. You should not be able to.
Here's the deal: if you don't die in the next 20 years, you can come back.
You can come back.
If not, good riddance.
See you soon.
Yeah,
maybe not. I just don't think when you do that. And Marshy, you brought up the point that Jerickson Profar, he made a great play, in the outfield, robbing a baseball, robbing a home run from Mookie Betts, and kind of teasing the fans. Like that's the good part of it. And then you said he actually went back and gave a baseball to the man who he robbed the home run from to say, hey, in good gesture, like, hey, I know that was, and that's a great moment if the fan decides to take it in that manner.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what you said ended up happening.
So, the video that I saw, he ends up giving him the ball. The fan then takes the ball and immediately chucks it back onto the field. Now, it wasn't directed at Jerickson Profar. I think it was more so, and I told you guys this in the office, that it was more so like a fan who catches a home run ball and then decides to throw it back. This is a little different than a home run ball. This is something like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, you're on the other team. I don't like you. I'm not supposed to like you, but this is a cool moment. But then he throws the ball onto the field, which then, not that it allowed other fans to do so, but I guess other fans were like, well, that guy threw a ball on the field. I'm going to start throwing another baseball. And then another baseball's thrown onto the field. Then you start seeing some, beer cans and stuff thrown on the field. And so, it's almost like the guy who starts the fight and then kind of crawls away.
Yes.
And you're like, I didn't do anything.
Right. No, you started it.
You started. He kind of started it by throwing the baseball back onto the field.
Yep.
Now, it's up to the other fans to have just the mindset of, wow, this is probably a really bad idea. I shouldn't do this.
Don't be an idiot.
But they're Dodger fans, so they decided to do it.
Absolutely. Well said, Marsh. Couldn't agree more.
Right.
Now, from a baseball standpoint, Yu Darvish has not looked like the prime Yu Darvish in a while, except for last night. Absolutely dealt. 7 innings of work, 3 hits, only allowed the 1 run, which was a Lux sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Then he got out of it. There was a line drive hit to first, and they doubled off one of the Dodgers runners. But Yu Darvish looked great. I don't like this Dodgers pitching staff. Flaherty was their big he was their big acquisition at the trade deadline. He gave up 4 runs last night, including a Tatis home run in the first, a Peralta 2-run shot in the second. So he wasn't necessarily sharp, and I don't think this Dodgers pitching staff is good enough. So have fun with Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and all that for a couple more weeks, or a couple more days, I should say. But
you mentioned that last week. The pitching staff, just due to all of the injuries that they've had, just not being able to. And I think there were reports that Shohei might pitch, but I don't know if that would be if they get out of this divisional series, if they make it to the NLCS.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the expectation, or even if they made it to the World Series. But if you don't have, we talk about this all the time. We talk about with the Cardinals. If you don't have pitching, you ain't got nothing.
Nope.
You are wasting time.
Yep.
Because if you're going to give up a lot of runs, it doesn't matter how many you score if you continue to give them up. Well, and they gave up 10 yesterday.
You need your best players to be your best players. We had the conversation last week about Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt not really coming through in the postseason. Mookie Betts is 0 for his last 22 in the postseason. And Shohei Ohtani, I don't believe, has had a hit since he hit the home run in Game 1.
Yeah.
And he went 0 for gopher last night.
Yep.
Like, you need your best players to step up. And I couldn't be more happy that this team is well, I know it's tied right now in the series.
Right.
I hope they lose.
I do too. I do too. Dodgers. You guys don't like the Dodgers story?
No.
What story?
What story?
All the people they paid
Trevor
for and
Story?
how they...
He don't play for the Dodgers.
No, he was a Rocky. Yeah. I'm talking about the story of the Dodgers. Like how they paid for all these guys and how you got to root for them, right? Shohei he's a generational talent. You ever seen a guy go 50-50 in your life?
No, sir.
Not until now, right? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You should be proud. You should want to see that.
Yeah.
You ever seen a guy miss all the time that Mookie Betts did and come back and he's a hell of a baseball player, huh?
He absolutely is.
Yeah, you want to see that? You see Freddie Freeman when he played in Atlanta a little while ago was crying about how excited he was that the fans loved you. You root for guys like these are guys you root for, Anthony. I don't know what your problem is. You and Marshy have changed, man.
I think everyone wants Dodgers. I don't want to say everybody, but I think a lot
Yankees?
of Dodgers Yankees,
yes,
right?
Yes, please.
We're gonna get a Padres Guardians World Series.
No,
Padres Guardians World Series.
Who's gonna watch that? You want baseball back or not? I tell you what.
Where did baseball go?
Anthony, you've been watching for a while. It's been gone.
Well, I know it's been gone here. The fans.
I didn't go there. I'm going to be positive today. If Brandon is texting in, you listen to me, Brandon. I will be positive as I can be. I still want my $1,000, but I will be positive. Need my money.
I need my money, man. Where's my money? All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN.
Show me the money!
What's trending is next. When it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, I love that there's 2 locations, and I use them differently for, different things. When it comes to the downtown location, I love going down there for certain events. I've got the speaker series, or we broadcast live for the College Basketball Writers Association Awards. But when it comes to the West Clubhouse, that's where I usually get my workout in, and I'll take the family there in the summertime when the pool's open, or enroll the kids in certain clubs, because they've got a little of everything there at the Missouri Athletic Club. But I love being a member. It's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Now, gentlemen, usually in What's Trending, I like to bring things up that are happening right now.
What's going on
in today's life,
yeah.
Right? Like yesterday, today, whatever.
2 days ago, maybe?
Yeah, for sure, over the weekend. Now, I am going to bring something up about a player that I think has been horrible for quite some time. So this is nothing new. It's not what's trending. But yesterday, Deshaun Watson with one of the biggest, I don't know if you'd even call it bonehead moves or just, I don't know. But the Commanders are taking it to the Browns, taking it to them. And the Browns need to go for it on fourth down, 4th and goal. And, you know, they get sacked. They take a penalty. So 4th and, you know, it was at the 2-yard line. Now it's backed up. And the Browns really need this to get back in the game. Well, it turns out they have too many guys in the huddle. And instead of calling a timeout and, you know, let's regroup. You know, I get you don't want to call your timeout in the third quarter. At least burn the first one. Deshaun Watson decides to just walk off the field. Yep. And then Kevin Stefanski at the last moment before the play clock rolls out has to then call the timeout. Instead of going for it on 4th down when you're down by a lot, you end up having to kick the field goal. That's just one of the things that Deshaun Watson did yesterday. He is not good, and the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, head coach, said they are not changing quarterbacks. One, why? And two, has Deshaun Watson, in your mind, but started his last game in the NFL?
So, looking at that play, and now, in his defense, there were too many men in the huddle. There were 12 in the huddle with him in there. The play clock was at like 16 seconds. There's really no chance to run people on and off the field to still get that play called. So you're going to have to burn a timeout or you're going to have to take a delay of game. The frustration, I think, for him is like, why don't we have, because that's not a quarterback issue.
For sure.
That is a personnel, the person on the sideline that is calling the play in, that is calling the personnel in. Why don't we have, this is a critical moment in this game. Third quarter, it's 24-3. Why in the hell do we have too many men in the huddle? I'm supposed to be here. One of them is not. The 5 linemen are. One of these receivers or running backs is not. Why are we messing this up? And I think that there's a level of frustration on his part. I talked to you earlier. I was talking to you about, there was a play earlier where they're empty backfield, and the Commanders have 6 people showing. They end up blitzing 5, rushing 5, 1 blitzer. That's 4 D linemen and 1 linebacker. You got 5 offensive linemen. Well, the line decided not to block the D end. Hey, my running back coach told me, offensive linemen get paid to block D linemen. We don't block them. If you got to block them, you cut them. We don't get paid to do that. That's not our job. They got big bodies to block big bodies. He got sacked because the offensive line didn't know. Oh yeah, you blocked the defensive end. Right tackle, defensive end over there. That's your guy. There's a level of frustration on his behalf. Now, he hasn't been playing particularly well, but if you got guys not rushing or not blocking the known rushers, if you got offensive coaches not having the right personnel in the game on critical down and distances where you got to score a touchdown and nobody knows what the hell. Come on, man. Like, I would be frustrated as well. Now, again, I don't know if that's what's causing him to not play well, but there are some other things going on for Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, which, in fairness, is Cleveland. I mean, I would ask, what did you expect? That would be my guess, my question. But, yeah,
I mean, look, you covered it. The Browns have bigger issues than just Deshaun Watson, but he's going to mask a lot of them. One, because he's paid that. I mean, that guaranteed contract is the worst in sports history. He also stinks. He's been terrible. He misses wide open receivers. When he does leave the pocket, he looks like he's carrying a piano on his back. He threw for 102 yards and no touchdowns before compiling some, bad the stat. He padded his stats there at the very end. He hasn't thrown for over 200 yards in a game yet.
He has not been good.
He's absolutely terrible.
Now, hopefully, for his sake, Nick Chubb will be back maybe next week, maybe in a couple of weeks. He's one of the best running backs in the league. I thought last year when he tore his knee up, I thought that was career-ending. It looked horrible. Fortunately for him, it was not. He's on schedule to come back here in the next couple of weeks. If you can hand the ball off to Nick Chubb, get that running game going, maybe play action pass off of that, you might see a better version of Deshaun Watson, but it has not been good.
Yep.
Like, it's not good. And he takes his lion's share of the blame. But when you are not blocking people correctly, or when you don't know who to have in the game, I know what that frustrates. That's a level of frustration. Like, what the hell are we doing? Peyton Manning would never. Like, they would never have the wrong personnel in the game. Like, and that's what he's thinking. Like, they wouldn't do. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, how do we not know who's supposed to be in the game? This is a critical down and distance. 4th and 2, trying to get a touchdown on the goal line. Like, we can't have this, and they had it. So, yeah, he's frustrated.
Do you think Jameis Winston takes over here soon?
So, at some point, if you're Kevin,
eat some dubs.
If you're Kevin Stefanski, at some point, you can't look at the rest of the guys in the locker room and not go to Winston. You're showing film every when do you guys do film? Monday?
Yeah.
So you do film work on Monday.
Win Wednesday.
Yeah. So you're breaking it down, and yes, you're highlighting everything. But if you're highlighting Deshaun Watson making horrible throws and missing wide open receivers constantly, at some point you got to take the responsibility on and go to the backup. He's been terrible.
I love Jameis Winston. I hope he gets a shot. Let's stick with football here. Ashton Jeanty, probably the best running back in the world right now, at least at the college game. Ashton Jeanty, I want to read some numbers for you. Let's start off with the last 3 Heisman winners, and this is according to Fox College Football. Derrick Henry, 2015, he rushed, and this is through the first 5 games of the season. Derrick Henry, 570 rush yards, 9 rushing touchdowns on 93 carries. That was in 2015. 2009, Mark Ingram, 487 rush yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground, 83 carries. 2005, Reggie Bush, 601 rush yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, 71 carries. All 3 of those guys won the Heisman. Ashton Jeanty, through 5 games, 1,031 rushing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns on 95 carries. If this guy loses or does not win the Heisman, something is, one, very wrong.
Yeah.
And it would be appalling because he plays for Boise State. What do you guys think? Also, Anthony, if you're an NFL GM, are you taking him in the first round?
Oh, wow. That's a whole nother conversation, right? Because the only thing is he's a little small. So, no, I don't think he's a first-round pick.
The running back hate is real. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the kid has been unbelievable. Boise State, what were they up, like 49 to something at halftime on Saturday? And I may have shorted them. They were up, let's see. No, they were up 49 to 17 at halftime. They hung 62 points on the board against Utah State. Jeanty, 13 carries, 186 yards, 3 tutties. The kid has been special. And in a season when you don't know really what you're going to get from week to week, he has been the one consistent all year long. At least for the first month and week of a season. So, yeah, he's the Heisman. No, I don't think he's a first round.
I got to watch him play one game. It was the game they lost, and that was against Oregon. At Oregon. And he went off. He broke a 70-yarder and was running past Oregon DBs. Like, when people will say, "Oh, well, it's a group of 5 school," it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. He did it against one of the top teams in the country, and he had 192 yards on 25 carries. And again, that 70-yarder, he took off. And they only lost by 3 to Oregon at Oregon. Like, this is at night.
In Eugene.
This is a really good Boise team. They have done a really good job. They've won the games that they're supposed to win. The one loss they have is against a top 5 team in the country. And this young man has more touchdowns. He got 16 touchdowns. He only had 14 last year. He had 14 touchdowns last year. He had 1,300 yards rushing last year. He has, as you said, 1,031.
Yeah.
He's going to stay healthy, keep playing ball, keep winning games. This team will be, in my opinion, if they continue to win and play at this level, he will not only be a Heisman Trophy winner, this team will be in the college football playoffs.
It'd be fun.
It's no reason.
This is part of the college football playoff fun.
This is it. Because they've already proven that they can play with elite teams in the country when you go to Oregon and play in the manner in which they did. And they had a chance to win that game. Like, Oregon had to have a last-minute drive to finish that game off. That was a really good game by him. That was a really good game by them. They keep winning. He keeps doing what he's doing. You'll see him in New York winning the Heisman.
I agree. Pretty cool. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marshy, Anthony Stalter. We're hoping to get connected here with Jamie at some point soon. We'll get into some Blues. But for now, Andrew Marsh's Week 5 NFL Notes next on 101 ESPN. If you have any issues with your roof, you got to call my friends at the Happy Roof Company. So if you've got a leak going on, you get any sort of damage, call the Happy Roof Company. They're going to have somebody to look at your issue within 24 hours of when you call, 314-665-3001. But maybe you need a new roof. You got some hail damage or any sort of damage that your insurance company can cover for you. If you're looking for an estimate, great. Call the Happy Roof Company. They've got cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs, free estimates with competitive pricing. If your insurance claim that you recently filed, it got denied, but all your neighbors are getting new roofs, call the Happy Roof Company. They work well with insurance companies. And here's the tip, too. A lot of contractors are out there trying to install the cheapest shingles possible. Ask yourself, why aren't they offering Class 3 shingles? Happy Roof offers Class 3 impact-resistant shingles on all their estimates. Most of the time, this can be included in the insurance cost without any additional out-of-pocket expense to you. So again, call the Happy Roof Company, 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, over 50 years combined experience in roofing, siding, and gutters. Financing options available. Call them, 314-665-3001. Tell them Stalter sent you. TheHappyRoof.com is where you can find them online. It's the Happy Roof Company. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 305. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. Our guy Andrew Marshy leads off our notes segment. We do this every Monday following a hectic Sunday in the NFL. So Marshy's got his 3 notes for Week 5.
All right, let's start off with my first game note. It's a simple question. Are the Denver Broncos good?
Yeah. They're at least well coached. You know what? No, they are. Their defense. If you watch like their defense, specifically the secondary, that secondary is one of the best in the NFL. I think they have a really good defense. I think Bo Nix is kind of. I think he's somebody that's probably got a ceiling to him, but in that offense, given his experience from college, he looks pretty good. He don't look great, but he can move the ball. But I think that defense is legit.
I mean,
Hard to tell yesterday when they're playing Gardner Minshew.
And they played the Jets the week before. The one win that does stand out is the Buccaneers. I still don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm ready to say that the Broncos are good just yet.
Yeah.
Like you play the Raiders, who have so much going on. We talked about the Jets earlier. What they had, the Jets are terrible.
Yep.
So I need to see them play. I mean, they got the Chargers this week coming up, which they could win that game. They got the Saints after that, and they got the Panthers. They could win those next 3 games, and then they got the Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons.
Yeah.
So, maybe I don't have an answer. I don't know yet.
Who do you? Okay, so Washington, the Commanders, they're 4-1. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big believer. I like the offense, but I think there's going to be a little bit of an expiration date at some point, and I don't trust their defense.
Yeah.
So do you trust Denver or Washington more? Because Washington's more exciting.
Washington, because of Jaden Daniels.
I think I trust Denver more because of the defense.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of, like, when does the carriage turn back into a pumpkin?
I think
the Washington one's going to come.
Ceiling is a lot higher.
That I agree with if we were just comparing it to Bo Nix. But
and, I mean, both rookie quarterbacks, both, obviously first year running things under center. I think Washington has more upside because of the quarterback position right now than what Denver has.
Okay, fair enough.
In my opinion.
All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We are going to try to connect with Jamie soon. But, Marsh, you get your second note?
Yes, the Seattle Seahawks are on fraud alert right now. I thought they started the season off really good. They lost last week to a good Detroit Lions team. And then what the heck are you doing losing to a Malik Neighbors-less New York Giants team?
Danny Dimes, baby.
I'll tell you what.
What are you doing on your home field?
Yeah.
At home.
And I know the Seahawks had the ball with an opportunity to tie it and send it to overtime before the Giants blocked the kick and return it for a touchdown. If you had eyes on that game, you would have seen the Giants. They owned Seattle yesterday. They were outplaying them the entire game. At halftime, I was surprised it was even that close. I think it was like 10-10 at half. The Giants thoroughly outplayed Seattle without Malik Neighbors, without a couple other guys. I kind of thought the Seahawks were frauds, and then they had that great game, at least offensively, in Detroit, and I'm like, you're pretty good. No, you're not. You're a fraud. Geno Smith plays really well against Detroit. That's about it. Otherwise, he's fine. He's not great. He's fine.
Well, if Geno Smith is leading your team in rushing, that's problematic.
True.
Like Kenneth Walker had 5 carries for 19 yards.
Not great.
Great. Geno had 4 carries for 72 yards. Yeah. Like, with a long of 32. Like, if Kenneth Walker or your running game isn't having the effect that you needed to have, that's ball control, that's taking time off the clock, that's giving your defense rest. All of those things that take place when you're able to run the ball in a game. And if you're not able to, your defense is going to be out there a lot. And they didn't play well. They should not lose to the New York Giants.
You couldn't get off the field.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Seattle couldn't get off the field against a Malik Neighbors-less Giants team. I give Daniel Jones some credit.
Hey.
I'll give him some credit.
Hey. 309.
Lowered his head at one point.
Anthony loves Danny Dimes.
Lowered his shoulder at one point.
Proud of you.
Couldn't get off the field against the Giants at home.
Because you don't run the football. You're gassed. Your defense is out there forever.
Last thing here. I said it last week. I'll say it again. The Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East. And give me a reason why they won't.
Philadelphia Eagles.
You don't even believe that. You're a Washington fan.
No.
Or is that Jamie?
That's probably Jamie. I think the Washington Commanders are a really good team. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, once everyone is healthy, A.J. Brown should be back after this bye week that they just had. Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, like their entire offense should be back. The question is, have they been able to replace those players that they lost defensively over the last few years? That's what their problem has been. How are they going to get a pass rush? How are they going to get after the quarterback? Are those young DBs able to cover long enough? Like, those are the questions. I think there's more questions defensively than offensively when everybody is healthy for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they're at Baltimore next week, so we're going to find out a lot about Washington. So at Baltimore next week. Then they got the Panthers. The Bears have played well. at the Giants. They got your Steelers at Eagles. We just don't know enough yet. You know, we're not too far removed from those two teams swapping field goals, or them and the Giants swapping nothing but field goals.
I think for me, like, I'm looking at the NFL in general, and like some teams, I think we're 5 weeks in. Your record shows what kind of team you are, and they're 4-1 right now. Like,
they played well.
They've played well. Like, I can't take anything away from them. They got a rookie quarterback, and they're 4-1 right now.
They are. I said I love Jaden Daniels coming out. I said he's going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I just don't. At some point, when they start to play better quarterbacks, I think that defense is going to be an issue. All right, Jamie Rivers now joins us live from the hotel room in Seattle. Jamie, you got us?
I got you, buddy. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We appreciate you getting on right now.
Yeah, we're in lovely Seattle. It has been sunny 2 days in a row. Oh. Apparently around here, that's a record. So we're going to be happy
nice. With that. Did you get some coffee yet?
Yeah, but I just got hotel coffee, Anthony. Okay. I'm not a coffee snob. You know, I don't need to go to all these fancy places.
Sure.
I've drank coffee out of coffee pots that have burned coffee in the bottom for like 4 years. So, yeah, I'm not the coffee snob.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's talk a little Blues next. We'll get into some of the roster moves for the Blues, and 5 o'clock is when the roster needs to be set. So we'll ask Jamie what we need to know about this Blues roster ahead of tomorrow's season opener against the Kraken. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Do you have a vision for a kitchen or a bathroom upgrade, but you maybe don't know who to turn to? Let me help you out. Visit my friends over at E&B Granite. They're the best in the business, and they have been providing unbelievable customer service in the St. Louis area for over 20 years. They've got so many different kinds of countertops, cabinets, amazing stuff available. I can tell you about my personal experience. I went down to 6135 Manchester Avenue, which is where they're located. You walk in, they have a beautiful showroom and an in-house design staff that's ready to help you fulfill exactly what you're looking for. And by the time I was done, I knew exactly what my kitchen was going to look like. We went in the back, I picked out the countertops, the backsplash. The in-house design staff was fantastic, and then the installers were great too. They pull out all the old stuff, and once they install that new stuff, man, I tell you what, I took a picture, was ready for a magazine. That's how good E&B Granite is, and they don't just do kitchens. They're into the bathroom renovations and now the outdoor living spaces. So please, if you're looking to do any of those things, give them a call. Book an appointment. That number's 314-645-9300. Again, that's 314-645-9300, or you can always visit them at enbgranite.com. All right, fellas, are you tired of feeling lesser than? That means you're tired, you're irritable, lots of fatigue. Maybe you're just not getting the results you want in the gym. Maybe you're not even going to the gym, let alone the bedroom. Maybe things aren't working quite right the way they are there. Those are all signs of low testosterone, and my friends over at Mentality can take care of all of that. You walk in, they've got a great staff of board-certified physicians. They talk to you, they ask you questions, they find out what exactly is going on. And then, Anthony, as you know, the blood panel is next, and that doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't. If you are low on testosterone, like Jamie and I were, hop on their program, because what you're going to find out very quickly is that fatigue that you were experiencing, that that goes away. The low energy, you start to have great weekends in which you feel like you can do a lot more throughout the course of the weekend. Weight gain, muscle loss, well, those two things, they wind up being flipped for you. You start to shed the pounds. If you are committed in the gym, start to add the muscle. These are all things, again, that happens within the first couple of weeks to month. At least that's what Jamie and I experienced. So head down to Mentality. They got 2 different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield. Talk to their board-certified physicians about how you're feeling. They'll draw your blood. If you are low in testosterone, great. You'll find out right there, and then you hop in that program, and all of a sudden things start to fall into place for you. You can also visit them online, lowtusa.com. Again, lowtusa.com. It's Mentality.
Look at these line combinations running right now, it doesn't feel like they're maximizing the roster. No, you don't have a real center with Jordan Cairo, so how am I supposed to know if he is the 40-goal scorer if you're going to not have him play with Robert Thomas? Well, then also when I look at Robert Thomas, how am I supposed to maximize Robert Thomas when I don't know about the wingers that he's playing with right now? I'm a little lower on Neighbors than Alex. Is not lower in terms of he's not going to be an NHL player. I don't think he's a 40-goal scorer, and I'm skeptical of him being a 30-goal scorer. And then who's the guy that's with him? Right now, it's Holloway. Okay, well, what am I supposed to make of that? How am I supposed to know what you have with your 2 highest-paid forwards in Cairo and Thomas when you're not setting them up, in my opinion, for success?
That was Tanner Hendrickson, T-Bone, from Alex Ferrario. Well, BK and Ferrario, but it was just Alex today because BK was on in the morning. So T-Bone talking about the different line combinations and things like that. We're shuffling things up, and I feel like T-Bone has had an issue with the different line combinations heading into the year. Jamie, realistically, when do you think things start to settle in a little bit when it comes to the line combinations for a team like the Blues that have a fair amount of new faces?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Look, preseason is a good way to get the chemistry going. It's a good way to kind of figure out maybe a couple of line combinations that you might like. But ultimately, the Blues have had really one game, and it wasn't their full roster, but it was close to their full roster, and that was against the Dallas Stars, their second to last preseason game. And they're going with the exact same lineup that they had that night, which ended up being a winning lineup in overtime. Jordan Cairo scores a beautiful goal from Robert Thomas. But yeah, look, this is going to be a feeling out process. You have a lot of new bodies, a lot of new faces in your lineup, and it's not going to necessarily click right away. It'd be great if it does, but it doesn't seem to work like that on a regular basis. The good thing, though, is that every other team is going through the same thing. Every other team is just coming out of training camp right now, too. They're trying to figure some things out. Maybe they don't have as many new faces in their lineup as you do, but still the obstacles remain the same for every team for the beginning of the season, which is why you try to keep your game simple. Put the pucks ahead, get them ahead, get to work in the offensive zone, get the puck to the net, get bodies to the net. And if you can string together a couple of wins here early in the season, that can go a long way. But look, I like the lines right now. I think that from a tactical standpoint, it makes sense. You've got speed with grit on each line. I really like the energy and the chemistry today at practice was fantastic. Guys were getting after it, barking at each other a little bit. But Carey, as you know, it's that good barking where you're kind of waking up your teammates a little bit, but you're into the flow of things. So it wasn't like a hey, everybody's mad type thing. It's like everybody's excited to get going, and everybody wants to pull the best out of everybody that's in that locker room right now.
Jamie, what is it going to take, for them to get started quickly and to get going? What is it going to take for them to do that this year? Last couple of years, it just feels like you don't want to ever start off slow or kind of start off the season where you're not having success. What does that take, and how much pressure does that take off them to get the season going off quickly?
Yeah, it takes off a little bit of the pressure. That's for sure. You don't want to be starting the season 0-3 after your first road trip, you're going home. I mean, this is going to be a tough season. It's a tough division. It's a tough conference for the Blues. But, at the same time, there's a level of excitement here to get going. There's these guys they're ready to go. This is a new group, and I think that there's a lot of fresh energy. And you know how that works, guys. You get some new guys in the locker room. It's not that things were bad last year. I thought they had a good group. Heck, they barely missed the playoffs, which I don't think anybody saw coming. But now you've got guys who, some younger guys, like talking to Dylan Holloway today, and one thing that he mentioned was it was awesome to be a part of the Edmonton Oilers and so much fun to be in a locker room with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Cup run and all that. But he wasn't a player that was depended upon. He wasn't a main player in their equation. And now he comes to the Blues and he's been elevated. Now he, for lack of better words, now he matters. And, he's still a young man. He's got tons of speed, but he's really excited to get going. And when you have that kind of energy heading into the season, I'm not going to say that it's an automatic that things go well right away, but usually it ends up in favorable results because you got guys that are really excited to play for each other and really want to get going.
Jamie Rivers joining us from Seattle, where the Blues will be in Seattle tomorrow to take on the Kraken. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We've got some Blues tickets to give away here in a couple of minutes. Jamie, from a roster standpoint, we know that the rosters need to be finalized by 5 o'clock today. Tyler Tucker was waived, but then he cleared waivers. What else do we need to know about the roster as we approach this 5 o'clock deadline?
Well, Brandon Saad is on, we'll call it paternity leave. His wife is expecting, or they're expecting their third child here any time now. So he is not on the road trip. So he's considered a non-rostered player for the moment. Oscar Sundqvist, obviously, he's on the IL right now. Torrey Krug as well. Those guys will probably be placed on LTIR in the very near future just to alleviate some of that cap space. Apart from that, Tyler Tucker, yeah, he cleared waivers, but Tyler had a tough time here. I think 2 seasons ago when he stepped in, he provided something that the Blues just didn't have, which was that sandpaper and that grit on the blue line. But then last year, it seemed like it just took so long for him to get back to that game. And I don't know if it was that he thought all of a sudden he was changing as a player, but it felt like a little bit like he got away from the foundation of what made him successful until it was too late. And then later on in the season, he had a couple of really big tilts with guys. I mean, we'll never forget the Brady Tkachuk fight. That was awesome. But I felt like it was a little too late to the point where, Scott Perunovich started to take away ice time from Tyler Tucker. Matt Kessel came up out of the minors, albeit a right-handed shot, still took away ice time from Tyler Tucker. And then in the offseason, we know Army went and signed a whole bunch of defensemen, left-handed shot defensemen, albeit. So it was going to be tough for Tyler Tucker to stay here out of camp. Now, does that mean that, his days as a St. Louis Blue are over? No, of course not. There's always injuries that happen, and there are always players that are underperforming, or maybe that the team needs a little more grit at some point. The fact that he cleared waivers is good for the Blues, because now they can bring him up in a case of need whenever they need a guy like Tyler Tucker in the lineup. So he cleared, went down. Zach Dean cleared, went down to Springfield. And those are a couple of guys we were wondering about. Zach Bolduc is here for now. In the now, he's here. Not sure he plays tomorrow night. In fact, I don't think he will be, but I'll let Drew Bannister comment on that either later on today or tomorrow morning. But, I think that's pretty much it for the roster construction. It looks like P.O. Joseph on defense will be out the first game, as well as Scott Perunovich will be out. So your D-core will be Nick Leddy, Colton Parayko, Broberg and Falk, and then Suter and Kessel on the back end. That's kind of what it looks like it's shaping up to be.
Right. Jamie, have you had a chance to talk to Drew Bannister and kind of pick his brain about his level of excitement starting off the first season as a head coach, not coming in mid-season and trying to correct some things? What is his level of excitement this upcoming game?
Yeah, he's ready to get after it. Like, training camp and preseason is fine and everything, but the entire coaching staff, just talking to them and just, shooting the breeze a little bit, they're ready to go. They're excited about this lineup, too. There are a lot of people that here within the organization, and even ourselves as Blues fans, we don't really know what to expect. All I know is that this team has gotten younger, faster, and bigger. And those 3 words mean a lot in the NHL. So this coaching staff is excited to get going, starting to play some real meaningful games, see where this team's at, in a week to 10 days. And then I think from there, you just kind of continue to evaluate from within. But guys, there's honestly no reason that the Blues can't win a couple of games here right away on this trip. Seattle here, a good team, young team, fast team, but it's a winnable game. San Jose, although they were a formidable opponent last year, that's a winnable game. And if you get up, you start the season 2-0, that's a good start. You head into Vegas, and then you hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the Vegas game is an automatic that, they're going to get rolled by the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm not insinuating that at all. I'm just saying if you're looking at the 3 games on this trip, that's the one you circle as probably the most difficult.
Jamie, we got a text from the 314. It says, Jamie has his TV brain turned on. He's so much more professional as a guest than when he's in studio.
Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. As we tried to explain to our listeners last week or the week before, we do have a little bit of a delay. So it's not as easy for me to just chime in and do my thing. It's got to be a little more on the pro side. So I apologize to some of the listeners who don't want professional Jamie.
No, nobody wants that Jamie. We want the Jamie. We want Jamie Rivers.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We have your shot to score a pair of tickets to see your St. Louis Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets on October 22nd at Enterprise Center. The first 12,000 fans in attendance will take home a Blues jersey hoodie courtesy of Ameren, Missouri. Get your tickets for Blues versus Jets, including that Blues jersey hoodie giveaway, by going to stlouisblues.com/promotions, or you could text in to win free tickets now at 314-399-9646. You just have to have the correct answer and be the 101st texter to this trivia question, which is, tomorrow night, the Blues will face tomorrow afternoon, the Blues will face former player Vince Dunn. Which year was he drafted in the second round? Which year was Vince Dunn drafted by the Blues in the second round? If you have the correct answer and you're the 101st texter, again, you'll get to go see the Blues take on the Winnipeg Jets on October 22nd at Enterprise Center. It's the Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey's Week 5 game notes next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, are you currently using ED meds? Odds are you're paying too much for those ED meds. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they are your destination for cheap ED meds. They've got a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Now, fellas, I've seen this advertised before. I have not seen it at $2 a pill. Get in there quickly now and check it out. Prescription required, of course. And if you have any other medicines or medical things that you need on a regular basis, whether it's regular prescriptions or in my case, my daughter's a diabetic. We have diabetic supplies that need to be refilled over and over again. Well, the Medicine Shop in St. Charles offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. This is a fantastic program for people that travel a lot, busy schedules. You can't get to the pharmacy, don't worry. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles will come to you. I absolutely love that program. And I love going in to visit them, too, at the pharmacy. Fantastic staff, very, very good as far as answering questions, very courteous, and the customer service is fantastic. So please stop by. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. But for more information on all of this stuff, you can always visit them at stcharles.medicineshop.com. Again, that's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marshy. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We just got done talking about your St. Louis Blues. The Blues will open the regular season against the Seattle Kraken tomorrow. Pregame starts at 2:30. You can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. City SC picked up a 3-0 victory this weekend in their final home game of the season. They'll take on Minnesota on the 19th, and we'll talk more about that and how their season ended later this month, of course. The Saints will take on the Chiefs tonight, Monday Night Football. Also over the weekend, Mizzou lost to Texas A&M 41-10. They are now ranked 21. They fall back from 9 to 21. I mentioned Monday Night Football. We'll have Carey's NFL Game 5 notes coming up next. So this has been your Sports Center update. It's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do our Week 5 notes, or we do the weekly notes on a Monday following a hectic Sunday in the NFL. Andrew Marsh gave us his 3 notes from earlier, and now it's Carey Davis's turn. Super Bowl champion Carey Davis with his Week 5 NFL notes. CD, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to start. It pains me to say this, but MVP again. He's on his way, and he ain't talking about Patrick Mahomes.
Why is it pain you to say this?
It's the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
It pains me.
Right.
But I like that young man playing football.
He's awesome.
He is freaking awesome, man. Like, he has moments that you're like, I don't know if anybody else is able to do those things. Mm-hmm. Like, he is spectacular. Lamar Jackson threw for 348 yards yesterday, 4 touchdowns, had 55 yards rushing. Brought his team back, had one fumble where he made one of the most miraculous plays in ever, Bob, defending off a defensive lineman and stiff-arming him to the ground.
Him down.
And then threw it to one of your favorite players ever in life, Isaiah Likely, for a touchdown.
Jamie.
You know about it.
True lifesaver. Isaiah Likely.
Yes, he sure is.
Makes that play, comes back late in the game, fumbles another ball, which, for all intents and purposes, the game should be over.
Yes.
Cincinnati allowed them to get back into that game by giving them ball back after missing the field goal.
Yep. And
then he hands off to Derrick Henry, and then they go score. But he is spectacular, man. Like, he had no interceptions. He had that one fumble, but didn't turn the ball over other than that. Like, he just makes plays that other people can't make. And that's why I think this Baltimore team, that's why the first couple of games I'm like, you lost to the Chiefs, tough game. You lost to the Raiders, terrible game. But this team is who I thought they would be. Allowing Derrick Henry to run the football downhill, make plays, and then Lamar is Lamar. And you're gonna have to find a way to stop him, and usually you can't. And this is still without their best receiver, in my opinion, in Mark Andrews, who had his best day yesterday, but still hasn't really gotten going just yet. Mm-hmm. So the Baltimore, I'm all in on the Ravens. I think they're going to be fantastic. And I think Lamar Jackson, if we were giving out the award right now, obviously you're not, but he's the MVP of the league right now, in my opinion.
Lamar?
Yes. No questions asked.
Man, Carey loves the Ravens.
He does, yeah.
I love Lamar Jackson.
Says he always has.
He always has. Always wanted to be a Raven.
Guys, wait. Stop. No, listen.
Purple and black, baby.
Yeah. Colors.
Yes.
Feels dirty.
Attaboy, Carey.
He's wearing half those colors today with his shirt.
Black.
So.
Steelers are black. Yeah, just so we wear black and gold.
The thing that you said about Lamar that or the Ravens, I should say, is spot on. They look like the vision of everybody had this vision of what the Ravens offense are going to look like, and now we finally see it.
Yeah.
We see Derrick Henry running downhill in the fourth quarter or overtime against a tired defense. Mm-hmm. We see Lamar, benefiting from a lot of what Derrick Henry's able to do in the second half. I still think that they're missing a lot of that play action.
Yeah.
I still think that Lamar under center would be even more deadly than just having him constantly out of shotgun. I think that would benefit Derrick Henry too. I'm not going to come off of that, but that was one hell of a game yesterday. Yeah. And Cincinnati did. They let them They let him off the hook because the Bengals' offense was remarkable yesterday. But too many mistakes, and you let Lamar Jackson hang around long enough, he's going to make you pay.
Yep. My second note is Josh Allen, if they want to win the division, have hopes of high aspirations of making it to the playoffs and making it to the Super Bowl, he has to be a superstar. And we've gone back and forth on this, you and I have. I don't know that he is. He doesn't have a 300-yard game yet this year. Mm-hmm. The game they played yesterday against the Texans was one of the worst games I've ever seen him play, for sure. Like the 9 for 30 for 131 yards, and one of those plays came on a 49-yard hitch route to Keon Coleman where he took it. It's the other 40 yards. It was like it's 5-yard hitch, and he took it 44 yards. Like that's I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Because Josh Allen, in most people's eyes, is that elite quarterback. In my opinion, when he has an elite wide receiver like he did for 4 years with Stephon Diggs, yeah, he will be. But when you don't have that, and they don't have that yet. Khalil Shakir did not play yesterday. Keon Coleman's still a young guy, rookie, trying to figure some things out, sort some things out. He got one ball thrown in the back of his head because he didn't even know the ball was coming because Josh Allen and him were on the same page. Like,
he's got to see that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to see it. He was scared, too.
You get your head or hands on it. You got to catch it.
You got to have your head on a swivel, Carey.
Absolutely. You do, especially in this game. But, no, I think Josh Allen, he has to be the superstar that people have been telling me that he is. Mm-hmm. And for me, when he has that superstar receiver, yeah, he looks special. His first 2 years without Stephon Diggs, he looked. We'll throw the rookie year away, but the second year he looked like a normal quarterback. And when Stephon came, this is when we started to see the version that we know Josh Allen to be. Now, in his defense, he hasn't turned the ball over nearly as much. He hasn't thrown a pick yet, which is but he will put the ball on the ground. He has done that once. He almost fumbled yesterday when he was running the football. But yeah, for this team to take that next step, he has to be a superstar, and he has not been that just yet this year.
He's got no running game, and how many times? I mean, look, he was sailing throws yesterday. He was not good.
He was terrible.
Mac Hollins, horrible drop. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, horrible drop. Dalton Kincaid, horrible drop.
Hey.
Like, we got to talk about the whole picture, too.
And guess what the whole picture is? You got rid of the guy that didn't drop passes. This is what I've been telling you. You don't get
the Buffalo
better.
Bills cannot just be Stephon Diggs, Carey. Come on now.
You want Josh Allen to be the best version of himself? You should have let Stephon Diggs stay on that team. You just named.
Who did you saying? What were we saying? Yeah, they need some better options. But I don't think Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen.
And the Packers were like, yeah, get this guy. He runs fast. He
stinks.
He can't run and catch though.
Josh Allen also banged his head on the field. He probably shouldn't have been playing.
Well, that was in the fourth quarter. So he Neither here nor there.
He went into concussion protocol
and came back one play.
Yeah,
12 seconds.
I think they might have given him a little smelling salt and said, "Hey,
listen,
get back out there."
Marshy, let me tell you something. Works wonders. Jamie, you know. That smelling salt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've had one before.
We used to
I wasn't even playing. I wasn't even playing sports. I just did it for fun.
We used to put like 4 or 5 of them in a bottle and shake that bottle up, empty water bottle, shake it up. Oh, you'll run through a brick wall.
Often smelling salty, Carey.
Buddy. Yeah,
championship football, baby.
That's probably why I'm not, some things don't always.
I guess I'll be the one to say it. Kids, don't do this.
Do not.
Please don't do this.
Do this.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
My final point is quarterback heavy here. It's Brock Purdy. We've talked all the time about, is this San Francisco 49ers team, do they have to have an elite quarterback? Is Brock Purdy ever going to get to that elite level? Mm-hmm. When you got guys out, when you got guys unhealthy, which he's had pretty much all this year, you can't lose to the Arizona Cardinals. Like that's a divisional game. You cannot lose that game to the Arizona Cardinals. It's just it's a bad look. It's bad football. I don't care that people get hurt all the time. That's part of the game. You as the quarterback, 2 interceptions, only 1 touchdown. they can't lose that game at home to the Arizona Cardinals. Like, it's just something you can't do. And so as Brock Purdy being the quarterback of that team, I understand Christian McCaffrey is out. I understand you've had George Kittle out. I understand you've had Deebo Samuel out. You're 2-3 right now. You lost to the Rams, to the Vikings, and now the Cardinals. Two of those teams probably won't be in the playoffs. And the two wins you got are the Jets and the Patriots, who also won't be in the playoffs. Like, this is not a good team right now. And same thing I said with Josh Allen, if you want to be an elite level team, a team that you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy has to play better.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wasn't good enough yesterday, that's for sure. Enough. Not even close. All right, it's Fast Line on 101 at ESPN. We've got advice with former athletes coming up next. So if you've got a question that you want to send in the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, anything that maybe you have come across that you've always wanted to ask Carey or Jamie, advice with former athletes next on 101 ESPN.
All right, sports bettors, listen up, because there's a new app out there called Circa Sports Illinois. Why is that important? Because if you've ever been to Vegas, you've seen the world's largest sports book located at Circa. It is a sight to behold, I can tell you that much. Derek Stevens, who's a personal friend of mine, he's had a vision for a long time about creating the world's largest sports book. Now it's in the palm of your hand, and it's old school too. You don't need any of those promotions and things to get you in to get on the app. No, the app does the work for you. It speaks for itself. There's tight money line splits. You're getting the best odds out of any app, by the way. And listen, Circa Sports Illinois is the ultimate sports betting app. It brings the tightest money line splits right to your fingertips. No betting limits at all. And you get exceptional customer service. And if you have something that you got to talk about, you get a real person. Not an automated response or a chat bot or anything like that. It's super user-friendly. You can bet on your favorite teams, players with ease. It's sports betting the way it should be, the way Derek wants to be, which is old Las Vegas style. So please, don't miss out on the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on the excitement. You can always visit their website or find them in the App Store. If you or someone you may know have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Give me some advice, quick.
Advice with former athletes here in a second. Do want to announce, though, that the Blues have announced their 24-25 opening day roster. Bolduc has been assigned to Springfield, as has Tucker. So Bolduc and Tucker have both been assigned to Springfield. Jamie, thoughts?
Yeah, this is from what I understand, it's a paper transaction. So for the Blues to get full cap relief for the LTIR money, they have to start the regular season first. Once they play their first game, they can then place Krug and whoever they want on LTIR to get that full cap relief. In order to do so, they need a roster spot. And all that means is that on paper, Zach Bolduc will be sent to the American Hockey League, then recalled in time to play the next game if necessary.
Gotcha. Okay. So just a paper move, paper transaction. Yep. All right. Advice with former athletes right now. So if you've got a question for Carey or Jamie, or maybe a scenario you want to throw to them, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Marshy, what do you got?
All right, let's start off with this. How do you coach a kid that has parents that don't care enough or that care too much?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So, oddly enough, Carey, and I don't know how you feel about this, sometimes it's actually better to have the parents that don't care enough. And I don't mean
you can coach them.
I don't mean that they don't care about the kid or whatnot, but like they're not phased. They kind of just show up. They let the coaches do their job, and they're like, whatever. As opposed to some of the parents who are like way too involved that want to be like discussing your systems or your playbook or what the vision is for little Johnny, because he's going to he's going to go play at Alabama. Like let's just be honest here. So yeah, for me, I've always approached it the same way every time. Like here's what I'm coaching, here's what I expect, and that's it. And you're either on board or not. It doesn't matter because your kid's part of this team. And it's about the kid. It's not about the parents.
Yeah.
And the more the parents realize that if they just let their child enjoy the sport, whatever sport it is that they're playing, if they let them enjoy the sport, compete as hard as they possibly can, promote hard work above everything else, like the parents are going to have a fun ride at that point. They're going to enjoy it because the kids come home and they've got an energy about them. They're fun. They're having a great time. They like it. Even if they're not the best player on the team, even if they're not playing the most out of any player, the kids sometimes don't even realize that stuff. It's the parents that are up there with the stopwatch, making sure that little Johnny or little Susie's playing the appropriate amount of time. And, they don't necessarily look at the work that's gone into it to make sure that they deserve to be playing as much or more than anybody else, or that they know exactly what they're doing in order to play as much or more than anyone else. So both parents can be a challenge. Both kinds of parents can be a challenge. But that's when I just say to whatever parent that is, like, this is about the kid. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them having a great experience playing sports.
Yeah, I agree. It's difficult, I think, when parents are overbearing. I think the parents that don't care can be challenging as well, because there are certain things that for your athlete to grow and get better, that parent has to be engaged in order for that to take place, whether that's helping them study or understanding the game or understanding the requests of the coaching staff to do certain things. Like there are parts of it where, parents have to be involved in order for your athlete to have success. And if the parents aren't involved, or if they're overly involved, it can be a bad experience for the kids. So I agree both ways. The parents that are overly, involved and want to talk to you about, well, what do you think about it? Listen, man, I'm out here coaching your son every day. He's unable to do that. I know you might think he does it well in the backyard, but the thing is, sir, when somebody's standing in front of him, he doesn't do it. It's not the same. Somebody that is his size, his age, pushing against him, he's not really interested in competing in that way. Click. I know you think differently, but here, let me show you. I will gladly. Listen. I have invited so many parents to watch practice film with me.
I'm sure.
not have I once had a parent take me up on it.
Really?
You are more than welcome to. Hey, matter of fact, when I was in high school coaching, they got huddle. You can go watch practice yourself. Tell him to circle himself and tell you who he is. And you watch him every play, and you tell me, does he deserve to play this game this weekend? The answer's probably going to be no, and you're probably going to be more upset with him than you are with me at this moment. But that's also, again, a parent being involved. Like, you need to know what your kids are or what they are not doing in order for you to help them and kind of usher them in the right direction.
So the next one I have, it's kind of along the same lines as what the 314 texted in, but as a coach, how do you tiptoe the line when it comes to winning compared to player development? Or can you mesh the two? Obviously, you can mesh the two together, but do you think that some youth coaches care more about winning rather than trying to get the youth to the next level?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've seen that,
Yeah, so here's what I'll say to that. There's two different ways to look at it, and I think I brought this up before, I don't know, last week or another time, but if your kid is playing at the highest level for their sport, let's say it's a travel team, like in hockey, it's AAA hockey, in baseball, it's the travel team. Like, when your kid's playing there, as a coach, those parents are paying a lot of money. They're already paying money for other coaches to do with like skating or hitting coaches, or maybe it's somebody a workout coach for a football player. They've already invested a lot of time and money, so you almost have to, when you approach the games, that is, you have to coach to win at that point. Those parents want their kids to be on winning teams, because the winning teams get looked at a lot by colleges and things like that. And of course, that's a little bit older for these kids. But you have the flip side too, where it's like the recreational team, kids that just love to play. So for me, the rec level kids, yes, you focus solely on development and fun. Development and fun. Don't worry about the result. Don't worry about playing a kid 25 minutes and another kid 3 minutes. It's not what you're there for. You're there to develop these kids into hopefully playing at a higher level one day, but if not, loving the sport and leaving there with a smile. Now, when you get to the travel team, yes, the focus is, I think, can be more on winning. And Carey, I'll let you grab this in a second here, but for me, the development came in practice. And that's really what you got to work on, is the development and practice, and you work those kids and you coach them up and you coach them properly, and then hopefully what you do in practice translates to the game. If it doesn't, it just means that they're not quite there yet, but then to work harder in practice and keep asking questions to the coaching staff, keep looking at video, keep the development going. But you may not get it in the games at the higher levels, because winning is not necessarily a priority, but it's something that most of the parents are wanting their kids to do.
Yeah, I think again, agree with you. It depends on the level that you're coaching, or the level of kids where they are. If you are paying a lot of money for your kids to show up, and I think people expect, good play, good coaching, and they want their kids to have a great experience. It's tough to win if you don't have the discipline or the direction. If you aren't being taught the right way to go about things, and you just expect them to go out there and out-athlete everybody, at some point you're going to run into better athletes. So you have to be able to, coach them in the direction of how to be the best, how to have different tools in your tool belt. When this happens, you do this. When this happens, you do this. You can do this and see how they respond. Like, you have to have different tools that allow you to have success. But then it's on the kid to actually, as you said, apply those things when the game happens. We can go over something 1,000 times in practice. I can show you, I can watch you do it correctly every time in practice, but when they get into the game, are you willing to do the exact same thing when it may not be as easy as you feel like it was in practice? Sometimes it's a little harder. Doesn't mean you don't do it. Doesn't mean the technique isn't correct. It just means you have to go a little bit harder than you have been going. So, it boils down to the kid actually buying in and wanting to do the things that they're being coached to as well.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We have got when we have returning?
Yeah, Chris.
That's right, Chris. Yeah.
It'd be me and Random. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was. Yep, that's right. Sorry.
About the Teletubbies.
Yeah, that's right.
Teletubby tea.
So we've got Chris coming back. And it was custard, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I know now. Yeah. I didn't know then. You should have told me then.
Well, I didn't know then either.
Jeez.
Sorry.
You had the list. You had the answer.
Well, I looked down at the list and I saw it, but I didn't know.
You still didn't believe it, though.
No, I still didn't believe it. You're right.
That should have been T.
Anyways, okay. Chris, we'll be back for the Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our guy Jamie, me, and we called our guy Stewie. And Stewie, I know that you often like to preach taking that opportunity when you can. What are you referring to now in that regard?
Anthony, reports came out this past Friday. They revised the employment numbers, showing the economy is doing better than expected. They even went 2 months back and revised it and said the economy is doing better than expected. Now, what does that mean for interest rates? That means the Federal Reserve is not going to cut the interest rates as quick as everybody thought they were. Interest rates are starting to climb back up, and that's why you have to take the opportunity to refinance now. If you borrowed money the last 12 to 24 months, chances are good you got a higher interest rate than you need to have. Refinance now with the bagel loan, no closing costs. If rates do come back down even more, you can always do it again. But take advantage now. The knee-jerk reaction is starting to climb, and before everybody recognizes it, we'll be 0.5% higher than we are today.
And take advantage of Stewie's personal cell phone number. I can tell you from my own experience dealing with Stewie, having just purchased a home and gone through the whole process with him, it is awesome. It's super easy. Customer service is absolutely fantastic. So please call him. His personal cell phone number is 314-324-4440. Again, that's 314-324-4440. Call him, text him, day, night, weekend. It doesn't matter. Stewie is going to be there for you. And if you can't remember that number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Call 314-920-5713 now for a free inspection.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Our guy Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, we're all here. Jamie Rivers joins us from Seattle, and we also have Chris back on the line. Chris, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you guys today?
We're doing great. Did you celebrate with everybody over the weekend?
Yeah, we celebrated and watched Mizzou get bombed. So, that went well.
They're trying hard.
Yeah, they're trying hard. But I did get to watch the Arkansas game, which was much more enjoyable.
There you go.
Yeah, that's wow. That was an impressive upset to say the least, man. They shut down a great Tennessee offense. So, all right,
did.
Chris, you got past CD on Friday. Do you want Jamie, Marsh, or me today?
I'm going to go with Jamie today.
All right, Jamie Rivers is up from.
Oh, that was weak.
I had my pen in my hand.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
try it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Jamie Rivers.
There we go.
Okay.
Jamie on the delay. All right, Jamie's gonna go into a makeshift cone of silence since he's on the road here, and I think we can even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sit in the bathroom.
All right, Jamie, go sit in the bathroom. We'll text you, buddy.
All right. Have fun, guys. Good luck, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel, Marsh.
So I forget, Chris, what are we hoping for? What category are we hoping for?
I'm good to go with whatever at this point.
Okay.
How does baseball sound?
Oh, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm
baseball.
excited.
You're going to get 4 baseball-related questions here, Chris, as you know. Every question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, question 1. Identify the year in which John Mozeliak took over as Cardinals general manager. Identify the year in which John Mozeliak took over as Cardinals general manager.
Ooh. Let's see. Why don't you go ahead and give me the options?
2005, 2007, 2009.
I'm going to say 2009.
Final answer?
Yes, final answer.
All right, question number 2. The Detroit Tigers are back in the postseason for the first time since 2014. Besides Miguel Cabrera, who else drove in 100 runs for that team?
All right, I'm going to go options again. Not very familiar with the Tigers, so.
Is it Ian Kinsler, Torrey Hunter, or Victor Martinez?
Let's go with Torrey Hunter.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 3. On April 13th, 1984, Pete Rose lined a double for his 4,000th career hit. At that time, Charlie Hustle was a member of which organization?
'84. Trying to remember whether he went back to the Reds after he played with Philadelphia or if he finished his career with Philadelphia. Or maybe there was a third team that I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cincinnati Reds. Final answer.
All right. Chris, question 4. Name the Cardinals starter who surrendered a staff-high 26 home runs in 2024. Name the Cardinals starter who surrendered a staff-high 26 homers in 2024.
Can I just say all of them? They were bad. Thinking it was Gibson or Lynn. I'm going to go and shoot Lance Lynn. Final answer.
All right. Let's text Jamie Rivers.
I'm on it.
From his hotel room. Chris, how you feeling?
I don't really know. Good questions, just not right in my wheelhouse in terms of a few of these things, but that's okay.
Sure. Well, I like your attitude overall, that's for sure.
Hey, I'm just happy to be on. It's a lot of fun to do this, but it is very different doing it, doing the actual thing as opposed to listening to it in your car driving around. So everybody talks about that. I'm like, I wonder if that really is the case.
I always appreciate people saying that. I do, because it is different. Because you got the pressure of everybody listening and all that. Is Jamie back on with us?
No, I texted him and I have not seen him pop up yet. Here he comes.
Okay,
Here he comes.
Jamie's going to make his way back to the microphone from his makeshift cone of silence.
Putting the earbuds on.
Oh.
All right, how we doing, guys?
All right, Jamie is back. Jamie, are you ready?
What's the category?
The category is baseball.
Oh, I love baseball.
Jamie,
Yes.
pack a lunch.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Jamie, question number 1. Identify the year in which John Mozeliak took over as Cardinals general manager. Identify the year in which John Mozeliak took over as Cardinals general manager.
General manager, not Pobo, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I think it was following the 2006 championship. I don't know why that's etched in my brain. I think I'll say 2007. Final answer.
Question number 2. The Detroit Tigers are back in the postseason for the first time since 2014. Besides Miguel Cabrera, who else drove in 100 runs for that team?
Oh, I was just talking about this the other day, but let's go with the options to speed it up here.
All right. Is it Ian Kinsler, Torrey Hunter, or Victor Martinez?
Ooh. I have no idea. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend. I'll go Torrey Hunter. Final answer. Why not?
Question number 3. On April 13th, 1984, Pete Rose lined a double for his 4,000th career hit. At that time, Charlie Hustle was a member of which organization?
Oh, I believe he was with the Expos at that time. They made a huge deal about it. I remember reading it in the French paper, Anthony. It was called Le Doigt. That was the name of the paper.
Ah, yeah.
And,
I told you that.
Yeah, you did. I'm going to say the Montreal Expos. Final answer.
All right, final question. Name the Cardinals starter who surrendered a staff-high 26 homers in 2024.
There's only one?
Chris said something similar.
I'd like to say Lance Lynn, but he was hurt for a really long time, so that probably saves him. Let's see here. Sonny Gray gave up a lot of ding-dong Johnsons this year. Kyle Gibson. I'll go with Gibby. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these, shall we? Chris versus Jamie. The Detroit Tigers are back in the postseason for the first time since 2014. Besides Miguel Cabrera, who else drove in 100 runs for that team? You both took the options. You both said Torrey Hunter. Correct answer is
Victor Martinez.
Victor Martinez had 103 ribbies across 561 at-bats for those Tigers. So we have a 0-0 tie. Identify the year in which John Mozeliak took over as Cardinals general manager. Chris, with the options, you said 2009. Jamie, without the options, you said 2007. Correct answer is...
It is 2007.
Jamie's correct. Jamie didn't need the options. Jamie with a 2-0 lead. Name the Cardinals starter who surrendered a staff-high 26 homers in 2024. Chris, without the options, you said Lance Lynn. Jamie, without the options, you said Kyle Gibson. Correct answer is...
Miles Michaelis.
Miles Michaelis.
Oh, I forgot about Moose.
Miles Michaelis gave up a bunch of ding-dong Johnsons for the Cardinals this year. So we still have a 2-0 lead for Jamie. Comes down to this. On April 13th, 1984, Pete Rose lined a double for his 4,000th career hit. At that time, Charlie Hustle was a member of which organization? Chris, without the options, said the Reds. Jamie, without the options, said the Expos. Jamie's got a 2-0 lead. Chris did not take the options with the Reds. They were an option, by the way. So if it's the Reds, we've got a walk-off. If it's the Expos or the other option, the Phillies, Jamie's going to win today, and Chris is going to go home. Chris.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
The correct answer is the Expos. Jamie with a 4-0 lead. or victory today over Chris. Chris, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, no worries. That was a good, Jamie, great job, and I'm just glad I got a chance to do this. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris, man. Take care.
Good job, Chris.
All righty.
Great job, Chris. Thanks, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. All right. Jamie, I honestly, I
kind of felt like he would know the Expos one.
Yeah.
Like part of me felt like somehow, I would have been really disappointed if you would have gotten it wrong. I'm not going to lie. I just would have been a little bit bothered had you not known.
I'm telling you,
one.
I remember waking up, and for some reason, I don't know why, there was a French paper called Le Droit. That's what it was. And I don't even know why we got it, because my mom and dad don't really speak French, and on the front page of that thing had Pete Rose in his number 14 Expos uniform with the 4,000 underneath it. I was like, wow.
It is amazing what you remember. Like, I remember certain Sports Illustrated covers that came out, in the 90s, and they have been etched into my brain. So I can see that with you, Jamie, reading Le Droit.
Le Droit. What does that mean?
The right, basically.
The right to own that paper.
Oh.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
R-I-T-E or R-I-G-H-T?
That's a double meaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's whatever you want to make it, Carey.
It's the right.
The right to right.
Choose your own adventure.
To right.
Exactly. That's right.
Gotcha.
Like the right remodeling company.
That's right, which is, of course, Mosby Building Arts, and they've got great deals going on right now in the bathroom remodel. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Let's get back into your St. Louis Blues. Keys to success. Each team, or each of us, I should say. I guess we're an individual team. Each person, each host, will come up with at least one key to success for the Blues, and we'll get into it next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis, Andrew Marshy, Anthony Stalter. Our guy Jamie Rivers live from his hotel room in Seattle, where tomorrow afternoon the Blues will take on the Kraken. You can listen to wall-to-wall coverage of the Blues opener right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. All right, guys, each one of us, let's come up with a key to success for the Blues this season. A key to success. Carey Davis, what's your number one key to success for your St. Louis Blues?
Fitting that you'd have the hockey guy go first.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, Carey.
It's going to be
only respectful.
Well, it's going to be the defenseman in front of the goalie. Like the defenseman. You talked about getting bigger at the blue line. Like these guys have to do a better job so that Bennington, Hofer don't have to take on as many high, dangerous shots that they've been taking on. So I think it's going to be those guys, making sure you keep the guys out in front of the net, keep them from in front of your goalie, keeping them on the outsides, Jamie. You know, you want to keep those guys from in front of the net and parking there. You talk about it all the time. Yeah, I told you that when you park in front of the net, good things happen. The Blues got to move those guys from in front of the net. They do that, that's the success. You'll be good.
You know who the Blues are? The Blues are the security team, right? And maybe not this year, hopefully not, but in previous seasons, we've seen them, these players on other teams are skating right to the front of the net with a sign that says, I can park here, just like Jamie Rivers does at our remote shows.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Or like Alex Ferrario.
Yeah, you got to move those guys out of the front of the net.
Well,
Well, that's a heck of a parking job by Ferrario.
well, here's the thing on that. He didn't actually park it.
The Blues defenseman to move the car, move from out in front. Yeah. That's what I
got to hear more about Ferrario. Hang on.
Apparently, young Alex Ferrario, when he pulled in today, he was on the phone doing something. When I say pulled in, he pulled into our parking garage here at 101 ESPN, our studios, and didn't actually put the car in park. Car must have shifted into neutral. Alex got out. He was still on the phone. He started to walk in. Next thing you know, Jody, our receptionist, does a fantastic job, went out for a little lunch or something and realized that Alex's car was still moving backwards.
Oh, no.
So that car was...
It was sort of parked.
It was kind of parked, but it was going, yeah.
Let's see if I got a picture. So we posted it on 101 ESPN, the Twitter account. Let's see if I can show the screen.
Yeah, it might be tough to see.
It's a little tough. Yeah, you can go to our Twitter account, of course, 101 ESPN, and you can find that photo. Just a fantastic parking job. If the lines were in a different spot.
If you painted them all the way back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was straight in between the lines, but just further back than one should be.
Right.
It reminded me, do you guys remember Saturday Night Live a long time ago, Mr. No Depth Perception?
Yeah, I do.
That's what I thought. When you were talking about Alex, I thought, why? No depth perception? Was he worried about hitting the pillar?
Anyways, all right, so the defenseman playing outstanding hockey.
Get him out the way.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll add to that, Carey, is watching the last couple of games preseason and watching practice today. Philip Broberg has the opportunity to really help this team. He's a big kid, and then there was a couple of situations where they're doing defensive zone coverage. He grabbed the puck, and 2 strides later, he was out at the blue line, and it was an effective zone exit. And I was sitting there going, okay, this guy reminds me of what Colton Parayko can do when he just takes 2 hard strides, nobody can catch him, and you're out of the zone.
Yeah.
If you have that now doing the same thing coming from the left side out of a young guy like Broberg, who's just really kicking off his NHL career, that's a big boost for this team. It's going to be a real positive thing.
Marsh, what about you?
Yeah, this team, they cannot play down to lower teams in the league. That ultimately was the difference last year between being a playoff team and not being a playoff team. You lose to the Sharks, you lose games to the Blackhawks, you lose games to the Columbus Blue Jackets. You cannot do that this year. Yeah, will it happen? I'm sure every team loses games that they probably shouldn't, but that can't be a consistent trend throughout this season. If they clean that up, because we saw they played pretty good against some of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, the difference came down to not taking care of business against some of the lower level teams. You just can't play down to their level. If they clean that up and they're consistent with their game, I think they're a playoff team. They've gotten better on paper.
Yeah. For me, Carey's right about the defense, but it's also a matter of special teams. What's the statistic, Jamie, that you often cite when it comes to kind of the positive, negative special teams in terms of penalty kill and power play?
So the origin of this, I can't take credit for it. The origin is Scotty Bowman, who's arguably the greatest coach ever in the NFL.
He's done some things.
And he always said that if you add up your league ranking on the power play and your league ranking on the penalty kill, if that total number equals less than 10, you have a contending team.
Mm-hmm. So to me, it's as simple as that. If you are as stout and when it comes to your special teams and not have these massive issues that you've had in years past, I think that the just kind of playing fundamental hockey, that's going to be one of your keys. So I don't know who winds up quarterbacking the power play. Can you do what you're saying, Jamie, in terms of like one pass, two pass shot? Can you simplify things on the power play? I think the penalty kill unit at times last year I think it got kind of cleaned up under Bannister. So if they have maybe not even outstanding special teams, but solid special teams units, I think the Blues are going to be a contender. I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah, so look, all three of what you guys said are great answers. They really are. The defensive side of the game, the special teams, everything. It's certainly part of that. But for me, the biggest thing is 5-on-5 scoring. Last year, they were at the bottom of the league when it came to 5-on-5 scoring. They had a lot of one and done, which means you're over the blue line, get a shot on net, the other team breaks out. They didn't have a ton of sustained offensive zone pressure or puck possession. That needs to change this year. You can't solely rely upon either your power play or your goaltender to save you out there. You've got to have good 5-on-5 scoring and good 5-on-5 offensive pressure. It makes teams take penalties. It wears teams out. It gives you an advantage. So you have to make sure that you're spending a lot more time in the offensive zone and generating a lot more 5-on-5. And that will lead to more power play time. And if your power play is clicking, then that's another way. Now you're scoring 5-on-5 and you get one on the power play. That's how you end up with a 2 or 3 goal lead on a team, and that's how you put them away.
Yep, that's perfect. All right, well, it all gets started tomorrow afternoon in Seattle, where the Blues will visit the Kraken for their season opener. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up, so if you have a question for us, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, if you got a question for us, send it there, and we'll do our Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN.
When it comes time to sell your home, you are absolutely going to need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent. Take it from me and get to know St. Louis's real estate expert. That person, Gloria Liu, with your home sold guaranteed realty. So many reasons why you should call Gloria. She understands the trends that the market has, whether it's trending upward, downward. She also understands what you should be pricing your home at. Some people think that their house is way more valuable. Some people don't give it enough credit. That's why you have Gloria Liu. She's the expert. She will tell you exactly what your house should be priced at, and that way you'll get it sold. Gloria Liu, also with over 20 years of experience, she's got a database with thousands of people ready to purchase your home. How does that help you? Well, it drives traffic to your listing. And when you get lots of traffic to your listing, that equals multiple offers and hopefully more money for you at the end of all of it. And Gloria Liu will hold your hand through the entire process right to the closing table, because that's what Gloria wants, to get you to the closing table. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu today. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. We just did our keys to the season for your St. Louis Blues. The Blues regular season starts up tomorrow, and you can listen to it right here on 101 ESPN as the Blues go up against the Seattle Kraken. Pregame starts at 2:30. If you miss any of our conversations from today, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. City SC picked up a 3-0 victory. Their final home game of the season over the weekend. Their final game of the regular season will come October 19th, and they'll take on Minnesota. Mizzou with a tough loss this weekend, 41-10 against Texas A&M. They dropped to 21 in the polls, so they go from 9 to 21. We talked about that earlier in the show. Illinois, if you're an Illini fan, they're at 23 right now after being idle this week. On Monday Night Football, we had the Saints and the Chiefs. You can listen to that tonight on 101 ESPN with the pregame starting at 6:30. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So if you have a question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Marsh, what do you got for us?
Question number 1.
All right, let's start off with the 618. How many games do you guys think it will take for Jordan Kyrou to be back with Robert Thomas? And I'll even add a question onto that as well. Is it a good thing if they are placed back together? Or do you think it just provides a little bit more depth that they're on different lines?
I'd rather have the best line than a forward group with a bunch of depth. I think the depth is nice when you have some dynamic scoring pairs. But if you don't, like when the Blackhawks used to have Kane and Taves, they split those guys up. I understand that aspect of it. But to me, I'd rather have like one top line that you feel great about on both ends of the ice than having like this depth spread out and then you have a bunch of lines that are just fine. That's just my take.
Yeah, for me, it's a wait and see, because ultimately, if you can separate Thomas and Kyrou, that means other players are scoring, and if that's the case, then ultimately, over the long haul, it's better for the team to have two potent forward lines at the top of their roster. But that means the other guys have to be scoring and creating offense. If you're just separating Kyrou and Thomas because you're hoping to create depth, that's a different story. If you actually can create depth by guys performing at a higher level and scoring a lot more, that is the perfect recipe right there. Just like the Oilers, where they separate, McDavid and Draisaitl. And sure. I understand that's a whole other level. Right. I get it, okay? But they're able to separate it because both lines provide offense. Now, when they really need to go for it, they put those two back on the same line. And I could see Drew Bannister doing that. If it's a one-goal game, a close game, and you need a goal, I could see Drew Bannister mixing it up a little bit. I could even see him go into Thomas, Buchnevich, and Kyrou and just loading up for a third period somewhere here where they look like they have a chance to win a hockey game. So although the lines are set right now, I don't think they're etched in stone. I think throughout the game you'll see different variations out there, and from game to game you might see some slight tweaks.
What say you, Carey? I know you're the hockey guy.
Yeah, I think, having those lines split up, it makes the most sense. You want to get the most bang for your buck. You don't put
Carey,
the guys
on
the side. I mean, listen, I only win in hockey whenever we have the, category. I'm the hockey guy.
Very true.
I know Jamie does the hockey games.
Doesn't make him the hockey guy, though.
Fast lane's hockey guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Totally agree.
But also, I think if you want to get the best out of both players, you might at some point need to see them on the same line together. You want to see the best version of Kyrie with the best centerman on the team? I don't know, Jamie. It's just my opinion, one man's opinion. They can do what they think.
It's a hell of an opinion, Carey.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
One man's opinion, one hell of an opinion.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Question number 2.
All right, from the 636, is it just me, or has the NFL and college football gotten more interesting this year? There's been a lot of upsets and a lot of teams that you haven't seen winning as much as they have in the past years, like the Vikings. No one thought they'd be where they are now.
Oh, wow,
Did you text that in?
Wow.
No, I did not. Hey, I'll tell you, there's a lot of Minnesota Viking fans here in St. Louis. I've been to a Vikings bar. I've been to an Eagles bar. There's an Eagles bar here as well. A lot of Philly fans in town as well. I like going to these different bars and just seeing all of the different fans in St. Louis. It is pretty fun.
Hey, Marshy, quick question.
Yes.
How did the helmet go over?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Did you walk in with it on? Tell us. Give us the story.
Absolutely. I walked in with the helmet on. There's a few listeners that were there that immediately they knew that it was me because of the helmet, and so got to talk to them a little bit. Took a photo and just sat back, got some breakfast buffet that was there, and just enjoyed the game. So it was a great time. It was a great time at Cyberg's, and thanks to the helmet, I'll give the helmet credit. We ended up pulling that one off.
Yeah, he did.
Very nice.
So
go ahead, Carey.
No, I was gonna say I think college football has been outstanding. You got so many upsets this season so far. You got number 1 Alabama losing on the road. You had
whoa, losing on the road. To
Vanderbilt.
To Vanderbilt. Not just losing on the road. It was
unranked Vanderbilt
after beating Georgia a week ago.
Yeah, you had the Georgia-Bama game last week, which was amazing, and how that ended. You got Tennessee losing also on the road to Arkansas. Like, it was some really good games this weekend. I think college football has been outstanding. I think this has been the best version because I think so many teams now believe that they actually have a chance with the 12-team playoffs, where in the past you knew it was 4 teams. If you weren't near that top 6, top 7, you had no chance in the world of even sniffing the playoffs. So, with the expanded playoffs, I think more teams feel comfortable and actually, having a chance to make it to the playoffs. The NFL season for me has been so weird, and I say that maybe selfishly because my pick'em challenge has been poor.
You've only been shot once.
Well,
Marsh is on 3.
I'm about to get shot again.
He's on number 3. But yeah, it's been poor. I mean, it's hard to tell who's going to play well week to week.
That's kind of fun, though.
I mentioned this before the show started that I don't know if I am getting shot if I don't switch my pick from the Vikings to the Jets.
Gotta believe in your team, Marsh.
Well, I did. I don't know if they win that game if I don't move off of the Vikings and choose the Jets.
Marsh,
I believe that's how that works.
That's exactly what happened.
What happened on Thursday night?
You chose the wrong team.
I picked the Bucs, and who won?
The team I told you
the
that
Falcons.
Was the better team.
So
won.
I got to see my team win because I willed it to happen. Yeah,
I don't know that that's
football gods pay attention to this stuff.
Okay, so what happens when both of your teams play each other? Like Jamie, when the Bucs play the Lions,
it doesn't count for him. He's got 3 teams.
Right.
Okay.
Either way, I win, Carey.
And lose at the same time.
Why do you win? Because I win.
Different cards every time.
So, guys, update me here a little bit. How did the Pick'em Challenge end up here?
So we're gonna no matter what, we're gonna tie.
Okay.
So it's gonna come down to the tiebreaker, and that we just won't know until tomorrow morning how the computer spits it out. But
and
Marsh
then the standings.
Yeah, it looks like Marsh is gonna get shot again. Do you have a chance to?
I don't know. I was already thinking about bringing my hockey pants or my breezers, as the people up north call it.
Let's
breezers.
We can check this.
I got 7. He's got 5.
What is everybody else?
I think
just more than me.
Carey, you play on a team.
Well, no, I'm talking about in terms of who's getting shot. I think I was the closest one to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think maybe Jamie had 6.
Let's see here. I'll tell you right now.
I think me and BK had 7. You had 9.
Marsh, I had 9. BK had 7, Carey had 7, Jamie had 7.
Yeah.
Marsh has 5. Yeah, Marsh is getting shot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3
Sorry,
times
Marshy.
now.
It's
Yeah.
all right. I mean, I'll take it, you know?
Hey, hopefully we win.
Well, yeah, now I'll feel like a huge Asoli if we end up losing.
Yeah,
sure. You know.
Going back real quick to that question. Guys, the college football playoff this year is going to be incredible.
It is.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I watch sports, when I watch a TV series, when I watch a movie, I want there to be some drama to it. I want there to be some intrigue, some mystery to it. I don't know what's going to happen to it. And that's what we're getting right now in college football and in the NFL, for that matter. And I know some people are like, well, it's watered down. But okay, but do you not want drama? Do you not want intrigue?
You know what makes me happy?
What makes you happy?
3 of the top 5.
Big Ten.
Big Ten. Huh?
More like
2,
the Big
3, and
20.
4. Hey,
Yeah, when you have 20 in your conference.
Hey, you don't worry about how many people are there. It's the ones that are there that count. The ones at the top.
Don't you
got
think,
a lot of teams in the,
You're taking a lot of shots, is what I'm saying.
Indiana, we got Illinois.
Some are
top
bound to
25.
go in at some point.
Hey, what do you want?
Don't you think at the end of the year, though, it's going to be the same damn teams?
No.
At the end of the season?
I do not.
Both college and NFL?
No.
Not this year?
Well, the Chiefs, yes, but no, not in college football.
I don't know about the Chiefs. They got too many injuries.
Guys, it's the same deal every year.
No.
Same deal with the Chiefs getting in
They're banged
December.
up.
All of a sudden, in January, it's like, why did we doubt this team?
You know,
I'm not going to doubt them. I'm just not.
You're the football guy. You're right.
I'm sorry, I can't hear over your Super Bowl ring. Go ahead, Marsh.
Question number 3.
All right, this one's for Jamie from the Water Boy, and we're bringing it back to last year. A lot of people wanting to know what's going on with the hotel room. It looks like this one in particular, if you're watching on YouTube, doesn't have any crazy patterns, maybe a crazy looking painting in the background. I don't know what that is. But we get a question from the Water Boy. What grade would you give your hotel room, and what makes a good hotel room for Jamie Rivers? Also, do you wear the Speedo to the hotel pool?
Great questions. All the way
No,
around.
I haven't yet. I think that management and front office might frown upon the unveiling of the Speedo while on the road. I do feel like it's very European. We do have Europeans on this team, so I feel like I'm just trying to make them feel at home. However,
Very nice of you.
I think that that would be frowned upon. Yeah, we're staying at the Four Seasons here in Seattle. This is a nice room. I like this room. It's got a little bit of a seating area over. It's like a little sectional couch chaise thing. And we got this table that I'm set up here for radio. And we got,
Complimentary
you
water?
can't see it in the camp. What's that?
Complimentary water?
Complimentary water. They have boxed water here. Really weird. They have it in a little, like a carton. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not sure about that. Sketchy. I do have a nice little built-in bar over here. And if you look over here to this area here, that right there is a bottle of Buffalo Trace. Somehow it found its way into my room. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, no, I like a hotel room that has adequate amount of space to where, like, if you're trying to unpack your suitcase, you're not tripping over it all the time. You can kind of put it out of the way. A little bit of room to just spread out your clothes, especially we're on a 7-dayer here, so I've got quite a bit of stuff to unpack and then repack all the time. But yeah, I'm really not a complicated man. Just give me a bed and make sure that the water pressure is good, and I'm happy with that.
There you go. Good man. That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. We'll continue our Sports Six-Pack next.
Once you're done with work for the day and you're looking for something to eat, maybe some fun, hang out with some great people, head over to Twin Peaks right there in Maplewood. They've got a new food rollout, too, that runs through the end of the month. You spice up your wing order with new sauces. You got chicken tikka, spicy chili crisp. You can try their new famous flatbreads and backyard barbecue brisket. So many amazing options over there. The best part about it, You can wash it all down with a 29-degree man-sized draft over at Twin Peaks. They also have a phenomenal selection of bourbon. So if you're a bourbon person like myself, they've got so many different brands. They also have, barrel selects, single barrel, you got hand-picked, all sorts of great things going on over at Twin Peaks. And they always have the TVs on, too. So all the baseball playoffs, football games, college games, they've got you covered. You can sit down, have a great meal, enjoy a beverage or two. Staff is phenomenal. They'll answer any questions that you have about the menu. Heck, they'll even make suggestions. If there's something new that you haven't seen yet, they'll tell you about it, and they'll let you know, what the feedback has been on it. They want to make sure you have an unbelievable time while you're at Twin Peaks. So please, again, visit them. They're out in Maplewood. That's Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
It is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you have a question for us, you can send it to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, as we continue our Sports Six-Pack. Marsh, go.
Question number 4.
From the 314, how long will Mizzou go with Brady Cook if he continues to struggle?
Yeah, I don't think they go anywhere else.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean, you came into this season with such high expectations. There was talk. Yeah, him and Luther potentially being a Heisman candidate. Like, I don't know, and I don't know that it's fair to go elsewhere. Like, he's done the job that has been asked from him for the most part. And to just say, oh, we're not winning, or we're not winning the way we want to win or expect to win, we're going to go in a different direction. Sometimes that's not always the answer. Sometimes it's correcting the issues that are there with the player that is there and figuring out how to get better week to week.
I don't think Brady Cook is the reason why they're either having success or not having success. And maybe that in and of itself is kind of an indictment on Brady Cook. But you watched that game on Saturday, and I don't think that there was any sort of rhythm in the passing game. I'm not going to blame all that on Cook.
Yeah.
I think Mizzou's offensive line got pushed around. I think their defensive line got shoved around. I think their secondary was constantly out of position. I think they took poor angles and had poor tackling. That's not all on Brady Cook. I think they fell behind so quickly that Noel and that running game couldn't keep things balanced for Mizzou, and Brady Cook wound up being a sitting duck. At any point, did I think that Brady Cook was going to lead them back into that game? No. So it's kind of a push and pull when it comes to Brady Cook.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Carey, I think you're right. I don't think they just bench him and move forward. It's not like he's been terrible, and they've got to do something about it.
Got a follow-up question from the 618. Does he play defense?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To my point. Yep. To my point.
Question number 5.
From the 618, Jamie, this question is for you. As the Cardinals DFA players and the Blues put players on waivers, when nobody claims them, how excited should I feel about either team's players that are on the ice or on the field?
Wait, what? So when the Cardinals DFA a player and the Blues put players on waivers, when nobody claims them. So the question is, so when nobody claims them and they continue to play for their rosters?
Yeah, so like
is that it?
Yeah, so I figured we could probably use like Tyler Tucker, for example. You know, how excited are you as a fan for a player that essentially is
no one else wanted,
got cleared through waivers and I know it's a little different now, and you've mentioned it before, that teams at the beginning of the season, they think that, this is our roster. We feel good heading into the season. If you don't feel good heading into the season, like, what are you doing, right? Like, that's probably the one time of the year where you should feel good about your team. But, as a fan, how do you get up for a player that essentially your favorite team doesn't want on their opening night roster?
Yeah, look, there's so many variables to that. Sometimes it's the team that the player's with that doesn't work out. Like, just because the player may not fit on your roster doesn't mean they're not a Major League Baseball player or an NHL caliber player. Just means that roster doesn't require that player at that moment. So MLB is much different than the NHL. Let's talk about the NHL because I know more about that. Is, to your point, Marshy, like you said, the beginning of the season, every team feels like they have the right youngsters, the right depth. They've done the right things over the offseason. So very seldom do they pick up anybody going through waivers at the start of the season. It's a great way for teams to slide, good players through the waiver process in order to keep them within their system. But even later on, like, if you have a player that you waive and he clears waivers and you don't send them down and they play on your team, those players are depth players. And it has nothing to do with being excited about your team. It's just that they're depth players. They shouldn't have that much of an impact overall. Your star players and your best players are the guys that are going to drive the team, the goaltending, the good defenseman, the top scorer. Usually a player that's a waiver guy is a bubble player that's in and out of the lineup. And at that point, you should just be excited when they have good games. Don't worry too much about the player being on the roster. I think that players that clear waivers for whatever reason, it could be the timing, could be the team they play on. It doesn't mean they can't be effective players for your club. It just means they shouldn't be there driving the offense or, holding down the defensive side of things. They should just be depth players.
Question number 6.
From the 618, and this might be something that we get into with our NFL game notes, is that game, talking about yesterday against the Panthers, is that a game that the Bears absolutely needed to get confidence to build off of and get that the offense rolling? The defense is top 5 already. That is from the 618.
Yeah, the Bears defense has played very well. I think the last 2 weeks, the Bears have kind of figured out a formula when it comes to Caleb Williams, keeping him upright, shrinking the field a little bit for him, making, we always talk about, well, quarterback's best friend is a tight end or somebody that's like a wide receiver one. No, a quarterback's best friend can be a play caller that is going to design some things open for him, design some easy throws, design some easy reads, get him into a flow. And I think the Bears have slowly started to do that. You saw DJ Moore really be active yesterday. So I think the last 2 weeks, the Bears have done right by Caleb Williams, as opposed to making him a sitting duck.
They're running the ball.
Yep.
Play action. They're running screens as well to DeAndre Swift. They're getting the ball out of his hands. Yeah, they do. They're getting the ball out of his hands quickly and not having him hold the ball. Yeah. He's doing a really good job of that. So, yeah, that yesterday was a better game. He's starting to, I think, relax a little bit, get more comfortable in the offense. Things are different when you transition from college to the pros. Like, the windows are much tighter when you're trying to throw balls in. The defense is much quicker. People are on you quicker, and the plays are happening a lot faster. And you cannot stare down a receiver because the safeties and the corners and the defensive players are too good. So I think Caleb Williams is starting to figure some things out for himself offensively, which is allowing the Bears offense to play better.
I agree. All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Jamie's Week 5 NFL Notes next. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Andrew Marsh And Carey Davis gave their Week 5 NFL notes earlier today. We do this every Monday following a frantic NFL Sunday. Now it's time for Jamie's notes. So, Jamie, your 3 notes from yesterday.
Yeah, so, Anthony, my first note is the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
Watching them play and watching Kirky football, as we call him now. 500
yards.
Yeah. Pretty unreal to see what's going on there. But going into this weekend, remember I said, like, for me, that game was either the Bucs are way ahead, like they're the runaway, or they're not.
Yeah.
And this particular game, it sure looked like they weren't. And so I look at the Falcons, I look at what they did, and I just think that they're a heck of a team. And can they continue to improve? Yes. Do you think now, because you're Mr. Critical of your Falcons,
right?
Do you think now they have a legit chance of winning that division?
I think it's going to be a battle all season long. I think the Falcons and Bucs are going to be the 2 teams battling out. However, I think the Saints are going to hang around. What I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints were to pull off the upset tonight. I wouldn't pick them, but I wouldn't be shocked. The Saints still have a really good team. But I think it's going to be, eventually it's going to be decided by the Falcons or Bucs. Now, the Falcons have 2 divisional wins already under the belt, and they're unbeaten thus far in the NFC. Their losses came against the Chiefs and the Steelers in the AFC side of things. So from a tie-breaking standpoint, they already look pretty good. That offense, I think, can score on anybody. And the defense seems to be opportunistic. It's not good. It's just opportunistic. It creates interceptions, and you saw Jesse Bates punch the ball out the other night. So, yeah, I think they can win the division, but I don't think it's going to be decided until the final week of the season.
All right, because that was my team just looking at it over from Thursday night's game through the weekend. I was like, okay, maybe the Falcons are legit. Yeah. So I'm kind of wondering what that division ends up looking like. Number 2 for me was the Cleveland Browns, man. They are just in serious trouble.
Wow.
And they're a bad football team, and they've got a quarterback that is making ungodly amounts of money, and he went 15 of 28 for 125 yards, got sacked 7 times. This is a disaster of epic proportions. Mm-hmm. Like, their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, he's a good head coach. I believe he's won NFL Coach of the Year before.
Yes, he did. Yeah, with I think it was he's won it twice.
I think he's won it twice.
Okay, so
I know he won it I know the one year that they went to the playoffs and beat the Steelers. Sorry, James.
No, that's okay.
He won last year.
Oh, that's right. He won last year.
This is a guy that has won NFL Coach of the Year, and he's now pinned down by a quarterback with an awful contract.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to sit Deshaun Watson. I know he does. Mm-hmm. You can't be that good of a coach and think, yeah, I'm going to run it back with this guy.
Right.
But the ownership and the higher-ups are like, we have spent a record amount of money on this guy, and he's going to play. So, to me, it's not affecting the whole team because the defense is something to be desired too at times. Myles Garrett is a hell of a defensive player. They have their ups and downs, but it's the offense that's just been abysmal this year, and it's courtesy of Deshaun Watson. This guy's terrible. Mm-hmm. You watch him there, he's making bad decisions. He misses guys that are clearly open. He hangs onto the ball to his death, like right down to the point where he's getting sacked all the time. He gets hit a lot. I don't know. It's a disaster that I just don't know how the Cleveland Browns get out of this mess.
I don't know if there is a way out.
They don't.
You're right. Yeah. They're gonna have to just bite the bullet when it's said and done, and just bench them, or find a loophole in that contract if you can, because it's a mess.
Apparently Shannon Sharp was talking about it today on Get Up, or one of the ones that he was on, or with Stephen A. And he said that there's a way for them to do it. There's a certain date. I forget the date, but if they wait until said date, then they're still on the hook for like $87 million as far as a cap hit is concerned, like dead cap space.
Jeez.
But How bad is that you're sitting there now and you're contemplating nearly $100 million in dead cap space just to get rid of a guy?
Right.
It's got to be really bad.
Yeah, epically bad. Yeah. So that was my number 2 on that is...
Look, Jamie, you're right, too, about Stefanski. Like, the offense, we know it works. We know it works because we saw it work with Joe Flacco. We saw it work a couple of years.
He's a Hall of Famer, though, Anthony.
He's a Hall of Famer, yeah. We saw it work with Baker Mayfield. We have seen this offense work, but it's a disaster this season. It's not just Deshaun Watson, but he's a large part of it. He hasn't thrown for over 200 yards. Carey, you're talking about Josh Allen not throwing for over 300 in a game this year. Deshaun Watson hasn't thrown for over 200.
It's not good.
In today's NFL.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is very, very bad. Quarterbacks like roll out of bed and throw for 205. And this dude can't break the 200 mark in 5 games now. So, Jamie, what was your third one?
Last one is you mentioned his name, Josh Allen. You talked about him. I went into the weekend wondering, are the Buffalo Bills smoke and mirrors? And they play another good opponent, and they lose again. So to me, they're trending in the wrong direction against good opponents. Now, anybody can beat up on the terrible teams or the lesser teams, but when the real games happen and you're losing, and it's not looking good, like Josh Allen did not look great. He got hit hard, obviously. That was later on in the game. But it's not just Josh Allen. I'm starting to wonder about Sean McDermott, too. You're at the end of the game. You're pinned in your end zone. What are you doing? Throwing the ball 3 times in a row? Whatever happened to running and killing the clock and making sure you put it away? Mm-hmm. Like, I have no idea what that man was thinking at the time. I have no idea why Josh Allen doesn't just call an audible and say, screw this. This guy's wrong.
Yeah.
But, I mean... After the game, he owns it. Yeah, that's my bad. Okay, but that doesn't fix the fact that you blew it for your team at that point. Now, do the players have to execute said plays? Yes, they do. They have to execute. I get it. But, I mean, running the football has got to be your first option on first down in that situation right there. You hope to grab maybe 2, 3, 4 yards, push it out a little bit. Maybe the second play is a pass, but when you're trying to run the clock too, every play should be a run. Mm-hmm. Then you pinned your punter in the back of the end zone. Like, just all of it was set up for disaster. Yeah. So this is, again, why I raised the question. Are the Buffalo Bills smoke and mirrors? Because you don't need tough coaching decisions when you're playing a lesser team. You don't, because your team's so good it doesn't matter. You just bury the opponent. When you play good teams is when you need good execution by your players, offensively and defensively, and your coaching staff has to be on point as well, making good decisions, whether it's play calling, clock management, rosters or setups or whatever you're doing. So I'm worried about the Buffalo Bills. I just don't know what the hell they are now.
Carey, you hate the Bills. You want to add
well, I don't
what
hate
Jamie just said? Sorry, you hate Josh Allen.
I don't hate Josh Allen. I just don't think they're a good team. I think he's a good quarterback. Don't think he's as elite as one Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes.
Well, those guys are elite.
There you go. And I don't think he is. But in his defense,
is he the third best quarterback in the league for you?
In the entire NFL?
Yeah. He's got to be third.
Does he have to be?
Who do you got, Burrow?
Jaden Daniels.
Probably Joey B.
Jaden Daniels looks good.
Boy, does he look good.
I think we got to pause a little bit, but yeah, he looks great. He does.
You pause, Anthony.
What about Jordan Love?
You pause, Jamie.
What about Jordan Love? Is Jordan Love not?
I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback. I think Josh Allen is.
I would say he's better. I would say Josh Allen is better. I would probably take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen.
Okay.
But he's right there. The 4th, 5th best quarterback in the league.
5th. Who do you have?
4th or 5th?
Who would you have 4th if Josh Allen is 5th?
Sam Darnold.
Nah, I can't do that.
Yeah, he looked too great this week.
I can't do that. Get back to me. C.J. Stroud. I mean, I think I would still put Josh Allen above C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff. Yeah, okay, you could twist my arm to being the 4th best quarterback in the NFL, which means you're really good. Just not 1 or 2. And not on level with 1 or 2. And I don't think it's close.
Wow.
How can it be? Those guys got like 4 MVPs between the two of them. Josh Allen has none.
Yet.
That was pretty impressive, too.
That was timed up perfectly.
Especially with the slight delay.
Yeah, that was. All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Is there truly a great team in college football right now? And if the answer is no, is that a problem? That's next on 101 ESPN.
All right, if you are looking to try and save some money on your car or your home insurance, well, Allstate and the Bibb Agency, they should be your first call because Allstate and Tracy Bibb, they're always battling to get you the best rate available out there, but they're always looking to make sure you're covered properly as well, and that's the key, is making sure you have the proper coverage. What else is key is customer service, and that's what you get with the Bibb Agency. They're not just a 1-800 number that you call and get somebody different all the time, and then we've all been there. You talk for 5 minutes trying to find out everything, you get your information across, and then they transfer you to somebody else, and you have to do it all over again. Not with the Bibb Agency. Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency have been fantastic for me since the day that I became a client of theirs, and recently I purchased a home. And the process for the homeowner's insurance was so easy. Tracy ended up just sending me an email. Everything was detailed in the email. All I had to do was sign it and send it back. That's the kind of customer service that you deserve as well. So please call Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. Get a free non-committal quote today. No strings attached. That number, 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Wisconsin on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Is there truly a great team in college football right now? I think after this past Saturday, boys, we can't say with any sort of definitive nature that there is a great team right now in college football. Alabama goes on the road, they lose to Vanderbilt. Tennessee goes on the road, they lose to Arkansas. Both teams, by the way, both of those teams were
you okay?
I think we're good. Both teams were double-digit favorites. Lost outright. I don't think there's truly a great team right now in college football.
Texas, I think, is close. We'll see what they look like this weekend. They play Oklahoma at Oklahoma. I think they've done exactly what they were supposed to do all season long. The one team that I am uncertain of, and I think we'll find out this weekend, is Ohio State. They haven't really been tested or challenged. I think they got a really good team. They aren't giving up many points this season, and they're averaging a lot of points, like 40. What is that, about 45 points a game, somewhere around there, and giving up about 7 points a game. So I think that they play Oregon at Oregon this weekend.
That's a huge test.
So that'll be the test for me to know if Ohio State is legit or not, because they haven't had any real challenges. They played Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State.
They played Iowa.
And Iowa. Again, Iowa doesn't score the football. They just usually play good defense. And
they're scoring like 20 points a game now.
That's an upgrade.
I think they got shut out.
Like 12. They scored 7.
Oh, did they? They sneak one in, did they, those Hawkeyes?
Yeah. So I think Oregon's Ohio State being the one team to see if they are legit or not. I think Texas is. Like I like what Texas has been doing so far this year. And again, they're doing it. Again, he's a backup. Like Quinn Ewers, their starting quarterback, is out. Arch Manning has been in and has been playing really well in place of him. So I think Texas is one. And once this weekend takes place, I'll know what Ohio State is.
Those two teams, I'm with you on that. Those two teams, Ohio State's the only team I think that's got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Yeah. Texas is one of only 2 teams, Ohio State being the other, that have a top 10 offense and a top 5 defense. Those 2 teams are absolutely legit. Tennessee, I had in that conversation.
I did,
but I mean, their defense is excellent, but that offense, Josh Heupel's offense, struggling like it did in Fayetteville this Saturday night, was shocking to watch. Then you've got a couple of teams that have losses from that point on. Ole Miss is a good football program, or a good football team. They lose to Kentucky last week. Yeah. Alabama's a good football team. They were still coming off the high of Georgia. Well, that defense, too, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Vanderbilt has been playing well, but
I thought they played Mizzou tough. Not that that's saying anything now.
They did play Mizzou very tough. But you can't go to Vandy and lose, and you're the number 1 team in the country.
I know.
Like, you can't do that.
You didn't think they should have been number 1 to begin with.
I didn't. I thought they should have been number 2. I thought Georgia and them should have flip-flopped. I thought Texas should have been the number 1. But they ranked them number 1, and then they go out and lose to Vanderbilt.
Good Vanderbilt team. Almost took down Mizzou.
Yeah.
The quarterback just... Did you see that quarterback dropping bombs post game? He was fired up.
What a post game! First of all, hat tip to the girl working for the SEC network who had to chase down these players as all of the student body is storming the field. They're tearing down the goalpost. She's running with the elbows high to protect herself.
Yeah,
and then the quarterback for Vandy just starts dropping obscenities. She's like,
so
I don't need
emotional.
this.
It was great though. Like, you're right. You're right. She's standing like, okay, I'm just gonna fade into the background here. But he was so emotional. He was so fired up. You could tell he was trying to give like this inspiring statement too, and he couldn't help. Like he was great.
He had like 50 family members on the field, surrounding him. And I was like, my goodness.
That was fantastic. The other like really good teams in college football are the ones that we just don't know if they're going to have the staying power. Like Army is having a great year.
Yeah,
Army is boat racing everybody they're playing. Indiana is actually a really fun team to watch this year.
They are playing well.
Then you get to like BYU, UNLV before they lost to Syracuse in overtime over the weekend.
Yeah, it was tough.
That was tough. Miami is a really fun team.
What's going on with
Cardiac
them?
Canes.
What are
I don't
they?
know.
It's 2 weeks in a row where it's come down to like the final couple seconds of the game.
I got to give it to them, though. I know what you're, Carey, based on your tone, I think what you're trying to say is like, they're not that good.
I don't know that they aren't.
But, man.
I like Cam Ward. I like what he's able to do.
They were dead to rights the last 2 weeks. Like, they were done. They have 2 losses.
Guys are exciting.
Yeah.
They're very excited.
And flying all the way to Cal from Miami, like that's a long trip. Like, it could take a lot of you.
That's a conference game, too.
It's ridiculous.
It's a conference game now.
These guys.
It's fun, though. Come on. Miami versus Cal. We get Ohio State versus Oregon this weekend in Eugene. I'm all about it, man.
So there's 2 things right here. One, I don't think a football game should end at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, Marshy.
Marsh, are you serious?
Hang on, I'm not done yet.
Like you were in bed, Marshy.
Thank you. You're up at 3.
I was in bed. I was in bed with my.
No, you weren't.
I was in bed.
You're still playing MLB The Show.
I was not playing the show. I was watching the damn game, but I was in bed at the time.
Wide awake.
I had to be up early on Sunday to go to the Cyber.
That's right. He had to wake up.
That's really what he's mad at.
I was trying to get a couple extra hours of sleep, but I had to watch this damn finish.
Droid in the snake pit goes, SMU is low key nasty. They kind of are. They upset Louisville this weekend. Like that was supposed to be a game where Louisville would get back on track, and SMU won that one outright. The upsets this year have been absolutely insane.
They've been really, really good.
Every week there is a massive upset in college football. Yeah. It has been a lot of fun. Or 5.
It's been fun.
Or 5.
Like it has been a really good season. All the upsets. It's a lot of parity this year. It feels like a lot of teams are really close to one another. And week to week, you just don't know who's going to win. Mm-hmm. Like, you may go into it expecting something, and somebody pulls out an amazing win. You're like, whoa.
Yep.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We'll do my notes, my Week 5 NFL notes next on 101 ESPN.
Elevate your performance with Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They're also known for their top quality work, and I can tell you from my own personal experience that they're awesome over there. They've got an unbelievable 25,000 square foot facility that has so many accessories and tires and rims and all sorts of stuff. It's just awesome. So please head over there. They're located at 3725 Harry Truman Boulevard. When you walk in, please ask for Shelby. She runs the show over there. She's going to take great care of you. Tell Shelby Jamie Rivers sent you in. She loves hearing that. And let's not forget that your car is a huge investment, right? So you need to make sure that anyone that works on your vehicle treats it with the same respect and care that you do. That's why you can trust my friends over at Pure Performance. They treat every vehicle like it's their own, and they do such an amazing job. When you drop your car off, you pick out your accessories, and then when you come back to pick up your vehicle, it's so amazing. I remember pulling up and looking at the truck, my pickup truck, going, man, did they do a great job. I want the same thing for you, too. So please go visit them in person over at their facility or visit them online. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is pull up pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues, their season starts tomorrow. We're excited about it. You can listen to it right here on 101 ESPN. 2:30 pregame. The Blues will take on the Seattle Kraken. We'll have all the coverage for you right here on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, including our Blues Keys to the Season, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there. That's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Mizzou, they lost 41-10 over the weekend against Texas A&M. They go from rank 9 to 21. Illinois is at 23 after being idle this week. City SC, they win 3-0 in their final home game of the season. Their final regular season game will come against Minnesota on October 19th. Tonight, we have Monday Night Football for you. It's the Saints and the Chiefs. Pregame starts at 6:30. We have one more NFL Week 5 game notes. That's Anthony Stalter's game notes. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
All right, as Andrew Marsh just reminded you, with the NFL final game here for the Week 5 schedule here, Saints, Chiefs, tonight, Monday Night Football. We went through Marsh, Jamie, and Carey's Week 5 notes. So last up is my notes. You guys talked a lot. You guys hit on some of the teams that I was also going to talk about, like the Ravens. That Ravens-Bengals game was incredibly fun. We discussed the 49ers and their issues. But I'm going to start off with last night's game. I thought that the Cowboys' victory was pretty gritty. Dak Prescott had some ugly throws. He also had some remarkable throws. And despite being banged up, especially along the defensive line, then they got some offensive linemen hurt during the game.
Yeah.
The Cowboys found a way to win that game. Fourth down, had an opportunity to win it, and Dak Prescott delivered. He had 352 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, he kind of made it more difficult on himself. He threw the one pick in the end zone, I think it was right inside the end zone. Yep. And then the other one came on a deep pass that he airmailed it into double coverage. So again, not overlooking some of those, but some of the passes that he made, the one down the middle, the one to the sideline to CeeDee Lamb, had a couple to Ferguson, and then the touchdown pass at the end there. I thought that was a gritty performance by Dak and the Cowboys, who need to keep pace with the Commanders now, ironically, in the NFC East.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys, as you said, they had so many injuries coming into that game. Hadn't found their way with the running game yet. I thought Dowdle did a really good job last night of running the football. Had that fumble down on the goal line, which I'm sure scared a lot of Cowboy fans. But I thought they played a really good game. I think, there are some things to clean up, but when you have that many injuries, to go on the road, to have a delay like they did, hour and a half almost, to come out of there with a W was good for the Cowboys yesterday.
No doubt. Now, on the flip side of that, my other game note here is that the Steelers, unfortunately, I think with Justin Fields, who looked pretty good early on in the season.
I think it's over.
Yeah. So I wouldn't go back to Russell Wilson. I don't think that's a better option.
They're not going with Kyle Allen.
I think you stick with Justin Fields. Okay. The problem is, if you get him into a drop-back passing game, he ain't good.
No.
And last night wound up being kind of a drop-back passing game. They needed some more air yards last night. They needed to pick up some chunk yards, and he can't do it.
He needs to be able to have on-time throws, back foot. If you got a hitch, throw, whatever the case is, you need to be able to get the ball out of your hands before the receiver. And I've been watching some Deshaun Watson film. It's kind of similar. Like, you are throwing the ball when they're open as opposed to throwing them open. Like, you should be throwing that ball when that foot hits the ground and they're breaking. That ball should be out of your hand, not once they've made their break and they're into, because the DBs are too good. They're going to cover it. The half a second is enough time for a DB to recover. So I think Justin Fields has to do a better job of being on time and on target with his throws. And also, you've talked about Arthur Smith and his offensive play calling in terms of the passing game. It probably needs a little bit more diversity, you know? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Somebody over the middle. Somebody high-low combination.
Some combination.
Something.
Yeah.
Knowing if it's man and what to expect and what play to call. Usually mesh. Good route to run when it's man-to-man. You get rubbed and people kind of pop open. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should do some of that. That's what I'm watching. It ain't Matt Canada, which is an upgrade.
Yeah.
But it ain't great.
It's not anybody that is really good. When I watched Arthur Smith's passing attack the last couple of years, it finally dawned on me how difficult every throw was.
Yeah.
Every pass, and maybe this is an opportunity for me to say, hey, Justin Fields, it's not all him. But when a wide receiver is always covered, you're not designing anything for your guys to get open.
And I do think the Steelers need another receiver.
Sure.
I don't know, Van Jefferson, he's been the third or fourth receiver on.
You mean Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
He's been the third or fourth receiver on every team he's been on. Calvin Austin is a speed.
It's the same player.
Gimmick guy.
Drives me crazy.
I think they need another receiver opposite of George Pickens, because I don't think he can create enough by himself, especially if, you have multiple eyes on him.
Yeah.
Guys if they're going to double cover him, if they're going to shift that safety in his direction, it's going to make it harder for him to get open. You need somebody that can alleviate some of that pressure on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, I agree. My third takeaway is we've got a fraud alert in the NFL, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. That seems fraudulent. They got worked yesterday by the Giants. And the Giants, not like they had Malik Neighbors and some of their better players. They just got flat worked. If you watch any of that game, the Giants were in complete control over the Seahawks.
Danny Dimes, baby.
He looked good.
Yeah, second time you've said that this year.
He's not great.
Marshy, you writing it down? That's the second time Anthony has said Daniel Jones looks good. Danny Dimes. It's 2 times. 2 times more than you ever thought you'd say that. By the end of the year,
I'll give him that.
It'll be a playoff team.
Yeah. By the way, that's Carey Davis. Carey Carpenter just hit a home run for the Tigers. It took 8 innings for the Tigers and Guardians to score a run. Now the Tigers are up 3-0. Carey Carpenter with a 3-run blast.
And who did he hit
top
that
of the
off of?
Wasn't it Clase?
Emmanuel Clase was one of the
best closers, yeah.
I won't say the best, because I think the best.
Played in the Redbird uniform.
Yeah, he did.
Huh?
Yeah, he did.
Where's he?
He's at home watching the.
They got off.
No, they got
an off day for the old Cardinals.
More like a
off season.
Off season.
Okay. So the Tigers are up 3-0 in Game 2 of the ALDS. Tonight, it'll be Game 2 between the Yankees and the Royals. Cole Ragans will oppose Carlos Rodon.
Give me Juan Soto over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Oh, we're not to that yet? No.
By the way, I pushed for the Jaguars yesterday. Thanks.
Did you?
I haven't hit a pick since October. Sorry. I haven't hit a pick. I thought yesterday with the Jaguars, who have owned the Colts and were, up by 10 in the fourth quarter, maybe they'll get it done.
What was your bet?
-3.
Oh.
Well, it's a push, though, so you will get an extra pick, no?
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we didn't give that to you earlier.
It's just a yellow. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
I don't get a point.
4-1 or whatever the record is.
I know my record. It's terrible. Plus, I recommended to that fantasy owner to not play Zay Flowers.
Did I say play him? I think I did.
I recommended Allen Lazard.
Well, he got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. He's 4 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown.
You recommended Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes, too.
Well, Jordan Love had a great play yesterday.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
What are you talking about? He avoided the sack.
Yeah.
He avoided the safety.
He did, yeah. Unfortunately, he threw it to the other team. 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not too bad.
He got 20 points.
Yeah. Okay, that's not terrible. Yeah. That's
okay.
Really funny. What did Lazard get?
Well, so he had, 4 catches for
34 yards.
So that's about 7 points, give or take, and a touchdown, 6.
Digits.
He's probably got 13 to 15 points.
All right, there you go. Zay Flowers had a better game. But all right, it's Fastline on 101 ESPN. We will play Bet the Board. We will have our criticisms and compliments, as well as our 3 stars of the day. That's all next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking for replacement windows, whether it is just old windows and they're not efficient anymore, or maybe you're just doing a remodel? You're putting in some new windows because you want to update the look of your home. Please call my friends at Window World. They are simply the best for less. Let's not forget that Window World windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And why is that? Because they have an amazing window. Their replacement windows use a double-strength glass, gives it a strength that you just don't find in ordinary replacement windows. And what does that mean? Well, it means less breakage and better efficiency. So those are 2 things. You don't want to have broken windows with a storm or anything like that. Little branches hit it and they break your window. No. And you don't want the hot air in the summer or the cold air in the winter leaking into your home. That's why it's important to have a great window. Window World, they also back it up with a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, glass breakage, and labor. And they are still offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and give them a call. When you call them, tell them that Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you in. That'll qualify you for 4 Blues tickets to an upcoming game. That number is 314-993-1800. Again, that's 314-993-1800. Or you can always visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, feel free to download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com and on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. We stunk over the weekend. Absolutely stunk.
Yep.
Best we did was push. That was it.
Good.
No. 0-3-1 for your Fast Lane. It has been an awful month for us. Me specifically.
All right. Is it on me again? Do I lead off again?
Marsh, how about you? Hold on. Let's just update the standings first, okay?
All right, so Carey and Jamie are tied at 2.
Oh,
I have 1.
Yeah, Carey.
Anthony, you have a push.
Oh. All right, go ahead.
You want me? Okay, give me Juan Soto. 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
Boy, who saw that coming?
Not me. No, actually, I didn't see it coming.
Not me, he said. Didn't see it coming.
This worked all last month.
Yeah?
I'm going to, until the baseball season is over, Jamie, and you're going to like it. All right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep riding it, Carey.
There you go.
Forceful. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's on you, Jamie.
My turn.
Yep.
I'm going with the Royals pitcher. Was it Ragans?
Cole Ragans.
Cole Ragans, 5.5 strikeouts. I'm going with the over. I think he catches a lot of Yankees, specifically Juan Soto.
Give me Travis Kelce Swift over 5.5 receptions tonight.
Oh, that's a gimme.
I love that play.
That's a gimme.
Oh, stop it. It's at -110.
That's a gimme.
I
sorry.
Who the hell else ain't going to throw the ball to?
I think
Sorry,
Kelsey,
-114.
I think Kelsey catches 8 passes.
Yeah, who else is he throwing the ball to?
Stop it!
Xavier Worthy. That's it.
You stop it!
Right, he'll have 3 catches for I don't know.
Worthy?
63 yards. Yeah.
He'll have 5 and 2 touchdowns.
Travis Kelsey's going to have 15
Kelsey.
catches.
Yeah, Kelsey's going to go off.
By the way, there's a long list of wide receivers in the league. Notable, I'll even say pass catchers, because Travis Kelsey's a part of this conversation. Mark Andrews was a part of this conversation. A lot of guys have less touchdowns on the year combined than the logo Andrew Van Ginkel.
Really?
And he has 2.
Wow.
That's not good.
No, not
for the other players.
Not for the tight ends. All right, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes to go over 33.5 pass attempts. I think this is the game.
Passing to?
Well, everybody. Because I think this is the game. Andy Reid says, fast lane this. I'm putting the ball in the air 40 times.
You don't think it's a Kareem Hunt game?
Nope. I think it's a Mahomes game. I think Mahomes attempts 39 passes tonight. Kelsey catches 8 of them on 12 targets.
Could you imagine if he had attempted 33 passes tonight? That would suck.
Says the guy who has come up shy not once but twice on 2 4-team parlays with 1 left. Actually, it was a 5-team parlay. The one I was chasing with Jamie was a 5-teamer. I hit 4 going into the Sunday night game.
He hit 8. Look at that smile on his face.
I know. Look at him.
He's terrible.
He's dirty. By the way, the Tigers are about to close down the Guardians in Game 2 and even things up.
Is that 3-0?
Yep. Tarek Skubal. Nasty today.
Pitching matters.
Pitching
Take notes.
matters. That's right. All right, Marsh, what do we got for criticisms and compliments?
Okay, so we just had in this hour a segment about college football teams, and we started naming off some of the teams that are not usually in the conversation. You know, you have like Navy, SMU, Boise State, you know, if they're not running the hook and ladder, but Boise State is doing good this year. So some of the teams that we're not used to seeing have good years. And there's one particular team that is having a great year that Anthony did not mention. And I think there's a reason for that, because this team is number 1 in the MAC right now. And this is from the Water Boy. Eastern Michigan is having a decent season.
Hey.
Eastern Michigan, who will take on fire up chips in 2 weeks.
Is that the biggest rival?
No.
Is it Central?
So, we're Central.
Western.
It's Central Western weekend.
Central Western weekend.
Where are we at with Eastern Michigan? Are they like
people that we don't care about? They're fine. Yeah.
The little brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care much about Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan. That's the big rivalry. Yep. Central Western weekend. A lot of fun, boys. A lot of fun. Dangerous though.
Eastern Michigan 4-1 right now.
Yeah, good for them.
Eastern Michigan. That's a little boy, Charlie Batch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my guy.
Yep. That one. They are in Ypsilanti.
Yes.
Ypsilanti, Michigan.
I'm gonna we got a text from the 636 a little earlier. I have no idea why this was sent in, but I'm glad it was from the 636. All it says is Kurt M. Fastlane Cousins.
Gotta love him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
500 yards?
Hey, guy.
You kidding me?
Special.
When do we start talking about Kirky football for MVP?
I mean, I was last year, and you guys laughed me out of the building.
Well, but you were.
Look what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Look what happened.
Towards Achilles.
Poor you-know-what towards Achilles.
Yeah. That guy's going to win the MVP this season.
Towards Achilles the next week.
Yep. Very next week. Poor SOB. Yeah.
We got a text from the 620, and I did want to bring this up. I was going to wait till the end of the show, but I did find this to be hilarious. I don't know if you guys caught this, but from the 620, I can't believe that you all have not talked about the ref that called the football a basketball this weekend. I about fell out of my recliner.
Who did that?
One of the referees, and I can't remember which game it was.
I didn't see that.
He said that I can't remember off the top of my head what the reason was, but he said, maybe the wide receiver or whatever was juggling the football, and he said basketball. They have possession of the basketball.
A lot of the refs do multiple sports.
Really?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they do football, they may do basketball. Yeah,
you'll see them a lot of times. Like you'll see,
No
you'll
wonder
see the
they
same
can't
refs
get
in like
the
March
right
Madness.
rules.
Yeah. They do both.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
We need refs and umpires.
Yeah.
There's a massive shortage.
Yeah, because
the parents are jerks.
Yeah.
The coaches are jerks.
Coaches. I agree.
Oh, man, we have a text from the 618. I'm betting Pat Mahomes under pass attempts now. Come on.
Oh. Well,
What the French toast?
they don't trust you.
2 months
It's
of
unfair.
bet the board.
It's unfortunate.
I'm off to a slow start.
Job.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've done great in the pick'em pool.
You have. You're leading. You are the reason we haven't lost yet.
Thanks, guys.
One of the reasons.
Thanks, Carey. Appreciate it.
You're the only one. You and BK haven't been shot yet.
Which, you know what, that text he sent yesterday really irked me. He goes, I should have just not picked it all.
Yeah.
I go, that's real rich.
Yeah, you got 7.
I have like 5.
Well, at the time when he said that, he was at like 4.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the first window of games, he didn't pick well.
He was bad?
Yeah, he was really bad.
I've been bad all year,
I didn't see, I saw the text, but I hadn't checked
When
how
he
he was
said
doing.
it, I checked. I looked and saw where he was at. He had
a
his
4
first
spot.
window. Yeah, his first window was bad. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for the 3 stars?
Yeah.
Third star of the day goes out to kicking field goals down 34 points.
Go Tiger. Go Tiger. That is damn embarrassing.
That's what. Just go for the touchdown.
How the hell did you kick a field goal, man? What did that do?
No,
Were you working on your kick operation?
Let's see. At least Eli had something.
Could you imagine if they went for the field goal?
Over.
Oh, man. What are you telling us, man? Come on, man.
Could you imagine if they roll the field goal unit out there and they get a delay of game?
It's not funny, guys.
Yeah.
They played like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That field goal is what that separates things, though.
Yeah.
You gotta do that.
Yeah.
All right,
Ended on a high note.
Second star of the day goes to hotels with boxed water.
Oh,
yes.
Jamie.
Absolutely,
Jamie. Bring us a bottle of that.
Yeah.
A box of that boxed water.
The Four Seasons.
Can you bring it back on the plane?
Nice.
Will it be spoiled? There's water in the box.
For some reason, I was thinking like when you said water, like boxed water. For some reason, I was thinking of like boxed wine.
Yeah, the Tour de France.
Yeah, but no.
All right, first star of the day goes to La Droit newspaper.
Yes. It means the right.
The right to write.
The right to write. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Tigers did close out the Guardians 3-0 today. So they will head back to Detroit even now. Yankees-Royals game 2 tonight. We have Monday Night Football for you. So if you're out driving around, you will hear Chiefs and Saints right here on 101 ESPN. That'll do it for us. For Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.